The story begins with the elite assassin, Lo Su. Oh no, here we go again, guys. Another Chinese anime with Chinese names for me to butcher. She jumps down, making acrobatic leaps and flips, dodging the infrared lasers. Not even a struggle for someone of her skill. She's come here to steal the dragon ring, but upon touching it, she felt a strange pulsation from a golden dragon. She was careless. A red alert was ringing, and men began to swarm the building. They shot a flurry of bullets at her, but she dodged with ease. Her partner, Yun Shi, would take out some men, making the way to escort Lo, but they'd find themselves surrounded again. Yun picked Lo up and began swinging her quickly to take out the men approaching. A single man began to shake while pointing his gun at them, but Lo would leap and take him out. Outside, the two were having a romantic moment where she thanked him and he'd say, "Fool, I said I would protect you because you are most important." Now that their final mission was complete, they'd no longer have to fight and kill for the agency. He asked if she really wanted to quit, and she told him she wanted to be free. The two embraced. They could live at the beach, see the most beautiful scenes, and live a simple, peaceful little life. Tears dripped from his eyes, and with him backstabbing her, he called her too naive. She faltered as he told her no one could leave the organization unless they left this world. Staring at the ring case, he shook, asking where the dragon ring was, and she told him that was the wedding ring she prepared for him. It was all too ironic. She told him he'd never get the dragon ring, and as he reached for her, she fell off the building towards the water. Sinking into the ocean, she thought fate was so cruel. A light shined, and her body, impacted by magic, sent her elsewhere. To like this video and subscribe to my channel, because here on my Shoujo Weekly, I've got tons of the best stories in the shoujo genre. This channel's the best when you're cooking, cleaning, or trying to sleep. I've got tons of hour-long plus videos for you to binge and keep the bad thoughts away. You can find a lot in the completed series playlist. So come on, hit that subscribe, I'll be your guy. Elsewhere, we see a man enveloped in lightning. As he dealt with monsters, he could sense a disruption in time and space just now. Fang Ling would arrive, looking distraught, seeing his Imperial Highness affected by the beasts. After Fang gave his report, the prince summoned his dragon scale horse, and they went off after the disturbance. Lo awakened to men pulling her head out of water, and her sister, Shisu, chastising and berating her. She hit her with a whip and kicked the water bucket to spill onto our protagonist. She continued to whip, telling her sister to die. Lo would have visions of she whipping her, and the moment she tried to drown her. New body, memories before death. She was somehow born with the same name and fate. Lo didn't know why she was born again, but she was going to deliver justice. Seeing Lo's glare, she staggered back. Everyone could see the trash's eyes got sharper for some reason. She began walking away, commanding the men to strip Lo of her innocence, and they were going to make it as good as possible. Lo quipped back that she'd definitely make it fun, and broke a man's hand. Then started to beat them one by one. She was going to teach them what real bullying was. She displayed her quick martial arts, but her vision was getting blurry. This current body was much weaker than her previous one. She'd turn around to see a dagger coming her way, barely catching it. But before the men could knock her out, the prince from earlier would strike them with lightning, catching her smoothly before she could fall. The prince would tell Lo not to be afraid, assuring her he wouldn't hurt her. But as he grabbed her, she would flip him over her shoulder to the ground, questioning why he took advantage of her. She told him not to dare go around with a male lead face while catching her like a pervert. Ling Feng tried to reprimand her, but the prince gestured at him to forget about it. He realized Lo wasn't so simple, so he decided to let her try again. He'd call his horse and swiftly toss her onto it as it rode off. Lo was fuming with anger, threatening to show him when she got down. But the prince then got on the horse and told her to hold on tight because he was going to pick up the pace. As they rode over a town square, Sulo was shocked to see so many traditional items and large beasts. She held the prince by his neck, demanding he tell her where this place was, and what he intended to do by capturing her. The prince didn't know whether to applaud her for her bravery, or laugh at her for her foolishness. He couldn't believe that she couldn't recognize the royal city of Northern Ling. He also asked if she had forgotten that initiating an attack on a highly skilled cultivator was punishable by death. He'd swing her over onto his lap, caressing and teasing her. They could see the evaluation palace ahead of them. Everyone who was born in Bulio had to come here and take the spiritual energy test. Once they entered, the prince explained that when Sulo was 5, she had 0 spiritual energy, but it seemed like the evaluation she had done before had an error. Now she realized why her body was so weak. The prince then placed Lo's hand on the orb, telling her that not everyone had a chance to take a reevaluation. A voice spoke out. She wondered if this was some kind of AI technology. The orb's voice explained that a cultivator could change their luck based on their spiritual energy, which was divided into wind, lightning, water, wood, and fire. Spiritual levels were divided into 7, with red being the lowest and purple being the highest. As the evaluation began, the orb sensed she had 0 attunement for lightning and wind elements. Lo then recalled that she read on some websites that the basics of magic came from understanding and imagination. So she tried to call forth that imagination for the next element of water, but it was a useless, swirling toilet bowl. Then, when it came to the wood element, a huge energy began surging through her body, and vines started sprouting all around her. Her spiritual level for wood was purple, which was the highest, and it was the same for the fire element as well. Lo Young was shocked by this, and when he looked up, he'd see Lo floating with the orb and noticed the dragon ring inside of her. Legend says that a great war happened long ago. Great Emperor Nishin and Goddess Yanhua led the human tribe to fight against the spiritual beings. The spiritual beings used their whole power to oppress the human tribe. In the end, Great Emperor Nishin passed away. The goddess, who controlled the time-space, used the dragon's ring to seal the soul of the Great Emperor. She then passed away, and the element of time-space had become weakened with each passing day, almost completely wiped out from this world. Lo Young wondered why Lo's body contained the dragon's ring. Regardless, he couldn't let this information spread. He would use his lightning magic to destroy the orb, allowing Lo to fall back into his arms. She saw he was injured and blushed, getting off, telling him he couldn't just gain her trust by hurting himself. He explained that there was a problem with the crystal ball and told her that her body composition was quite unique. He then asked her to wait for him for 3 days, after which he would meet with her again. As the prince sent her off on his horse, he was suddenly surrounded by numerous dark crows. The corpse-eating crows threatened Prince Nangong Loyang, but he wasn't the least bit fazed by them. With his lightning magic, he started taking them out, but he'd soon be overwhelmed by their numbers. Their relentless attacks would cause him to fall. He would then cast a powerful spell to get them off his back. As the crows dispersed, the prince heard a voice telling him that the dark blood circulation he had in his body was from the same source as theirs. They claimed one day he would become the demonic god who would bring destruction to the world. The prince would then ask Ling Feng to keep an eye on Sulo and not allow her to leave the mansion. He thought it was of urgent priority to confirm her power of time-space. So, he decided to take a trip to Purgatory City to get confirmation from his master. Over in General Su's mansion, Lulo was so happy to see that Sulo, the crown princess, was back. She started crying so much because she felt guilty about not being able to protect her. And now, her princess has been acting so weird since the afternoon. She assumed Lo must have really hit her head hard. In order to shut her up, Lo comforted the girl and asked her to speak more about this marriage with the crown prince. Lulo explained that the marriage was bestowed by the emperor himself. When Sulo was born, magical birds were flying in the skies, as if they were paying respects to her, and everyone said she would become very outstanding. So, the emperor specially arranged the marriage between her and the crown prince. Sulo found the tea she was drinking to be quite disgusting, and questioned why the crown princess was being treated this way. Lulo would brightly remind the princess she was trash that was good for nothing. Fun fact, it's 8-year-old crusted green tea. Ever since Sulo was 5, she received some unexpected results for her spiritual evaluation. Thanks to having 0 spiritual energy, she wasn't able to cultivate. Due to that, she was treated worse than most people. Her mother was angered to the point of getting sick, so her father kicked her and Lulo out and to this mansion. Lulo claimed the scariest one was Sushi, who had been making things hard for everyone because she wanted to become the crown princess. It seemed like she'd been plotting something to do after finding out the crown prince was coming tomorrow to attend the banquet. Lulo felt the only way Sulo could be protected was for her to marry the crown prince. But in contrast, Lulo thought Prince Loyang was better. He was the #1 cultivator in this world, and his most powerful element was lightning. He was even the #1 cultivator in all of history, and there were rumors that he might become a god. However, Sulo insisted she'd reject anyone, no matter what. She believed men couldn't be trusted. While taking a bath, Lo noticed a lot of scars on her body and figured its former owner must have lived a tough life. Because of that, Sulo refused to be a stepping stone for others in this life. An assassin would then sneak into the house while she went to sleep, but he never expected to be caught off guard by her Meanwhile, at the Crown Prince's eastern palace, he was surrounded by women, when one of them suddenly started acting possessed. The assassin who took over the body informed the prince that Luoyang went to the evaluation palace today, obliterating the place. But his whereabouts were unknown. However, Crown Prince Nongoing Liujie blamed the assassination organization Goitsu for being useless and failing in their tasks. The assassin retorted that if Luoyang was so easy to kill, they wouldn't need to team up. Then told them that Luoyang's energy would go berserk once his dark blood circulation had been triggered. He also mentioned that Luoyang brought Sulo with him to the palace. Hearing this, Liujie thought it was good. He had been planning to meet his trash of a fiancée tomorrow. As the crown prince arrived at the mansion, Sulo came to greet him. He was reminded of how she had 0 spiritual energy when she was 5, which made him a laughingstock. He was at least satisfied with her curves. He asked what punishment she deserved, and to this, she would call him a chauvinistic pig, and questioned who was it that decided to rush the engagement. This pissed her father off. Sushi suddenly showed up, accusing her of being a lunatic. She claimed Sulo was jealous of her beautiful looks and hired someone from the artillery union to poison her. But Sulo argued it was actually Sushi who sent people to kill her. That night, when an assassin snuck into her room, she knocked him out. When he woke up, he saw himself tied upside down as Sulo interrogated him. He said his name was Hu Hansen, and he refused to spill anything. So, Lo kept dunking his head into a bucket of water until he confessed it was Sushi who posted a high-rewarding task to poison her with a pill. Hearing the second pill had some special properties, Lo had an idea of how she could get revenge on her sister. The effects of the pill had started to show on Sushi's face as she denied her crimes, claiming there was both a witness and evidence. The head manager of the artillery union, Mo, then came in, presenting a paper. The note read that it was Su Lo who put out a high-rewarding task to poison Sushi. Of course, Lo knew this was all a fabricated lie. The manager claimed to have seen her, so she asked if she had gone around in town or shown her face that day, and also what kind of scent she was wearing. Sushi mocked, asking how she could afford any scents. And that was right. Lo questioned how she could have the money to hire someone for the task. Filled with rage, Sushi threatened to rip her mouth apart today. Sadly for her, the effects of the pill had grown her muscles to the point of slowly ripping her clothes. At the same time, Ling Fang reported the matter to Luoyang, and the prince couldn't help but laugh about it. Some guards approached Sulo, looking like they were about to beat her, but she wasn't about to back down either. Liujie would stop them, deciding he would be the only one to bring back his crown princess and keep her in check. Liujie then dodged a projectile just as it was about to hit him. As he tried to locate the attacker, the chairman of the artillery union, Bei Chen Ying, would suddenly pin him to the wall with his sword. Ying mentioned that when Manager Mo was meeting with someone in a rush yesterday, there was an extra 2,000 cash. Gonna be honest, I don't know what this means, since the translation is weird. Did she pay 2,000 extra? Not pay? Pay short 2,000? Hopefully someone who can read the subtitles can explain in the comments. As he summoned the note, the manager trembled in fear and looked towards Sushi. She then asked Ying why he was poking his nose into their affairs, and the crown prince supported her. Seeing the way she looked, Ying mocked Liujie for his interests in burlesque women. Sulo assumed he was gay, leaving everyone else shocked. The crown prince would then storm off angrily, but Ying quickly followed behind him. Lo's father then slapped her, claiming her actions would implicate the family because she offended the crown prince. He demanded she be locked in the dungeon. When Sulo came to, she saw Lulo crying in front of her prison cell. Lulo explained that her father didn't allow anyone to visit her, and that Sushi was going to use this chance to exact her revenge on her. While Lulo tried to break the lock with a piece of metal she found on the ground, Sulo saw how brave she was, still trying to save her, despite being so scared. Just as she comforted Lulo, the little girl was suddenly struck by Sushi's whip, and then tossed to the side. Sushi would order the guards to smash Lulo's hands for trying to help her sister escape. And when they were done, she told them to do the same to her legs. Sulo could only watch helplessly as her servant was beaten. Filled with rage, she called Sushi a transgender freak and claimed the crown prince had to be blind to want her. Dang, that's a little far, but hey, China, huh guys? As Sushi struck with her whip, Sulo grabbed it and pulled her close to the cell. Then, she held sharp metal against Sushi's neck, threatening to kill her if they didn't release Lulo. General Su rushed to the scene, demanding Sulo that they talk things out. So, she let Sushi go. She asked her father to forgive Lulo, promising to make it up to him, but he'd push her away with wind magic, letting her know that he only raised trash like her so they wouldn't lose the title of crown princess. He was also angry at her caring more about a servant than her father's future. Because of that, he ordered the guards to feed Lulo to the demonic beast. Bruh, this dad is a piece of shit. Lulo reached for Sulo's hands in desperation. As Lulo's hands were struck, Sulo was distraught by the scene. Suddenly, Prince Luoyang angrily broke into the dungeon and smashed apart Luo's cell. Upon seeing her face, staring with an empty look, he tried to comfort her, asking who did this. But she didn't need his concern. Luoyang then asked General Su and the rest who harmed her, threatening to end their lives if they didn't admit the truth. Sulo's eyes would come back to life, and she decided to handle the matter herself. Sushi tried to escape, believing her parents would stand in for her, but she never expected her father to slap her, calling her out for harming her own sister. Her mother tried to defend her, but General Su also blamed his wife for making Sulo suffer. This was all, of course, his attempt to get on Sulo's good side. What a rat! But she could see through his lies and called him out for being shameless. Sulo swore this would be the last time she'd call him father. She cut her hair, vowing from now on to end her relationship with her cold-blooded family. At Luoyang's mansion the following day, Ling Feng went around searching for the elixir of Yao Qi to help with the dark blood circulation in Luoyang's body. He was shocked to see that there were only 3 left, and even though he had told the prince to come back and treat his wounds, Luoyang insisted on saving Sulo. Meanwhile, Sulo found herself in the bathhouse. While searching for Luoyang, touching the water, she was suddenly dragged in by the prince. Her head became dizzy, making her think the prince was Yunxi. She struggled to break free. Luoyang held her tight, causing her to recall the moment Yunxi betrayed her. The dragon's ring inside would then activate, saving her. She swam back to the surface, and she was furious at Luoyang, but she noticed he was unconscious, yet resting so happily on her. When she tried to check on him, he suddenly woke up, asking if she liked looking at his body, making her feel embarrassed. The prince suddenly held her. Yo, why is this guy so ripped? He sensed there were no more fluctuations from the power of the dragon's ring, and she wondered how he knew about it. He explained that she showed having both the elements of wood and fire. However, she'd been trash all these years due to the suppression of the time-space element. Only the legendary dragon's ring had such intense time-space power. The ring also had a spiritual sense of protection, and the fact that Sulo had swallowed and remained fine meant the ring recognized her as its owner. Hearing that all her spiritual energy had been suppressed, Sulo recalled what happened to Lulo. This made her want to remove the suppression. So long as she could become stronger, she was willing to do anything, no matter what. Luoyang then smirked, asking her to help with his bath. He explained that time-space was considered one of the most extraordinary powers of ancient times, and it outranked other elements. Even though it had been greatly eliminated ever since the Great War of the Ancients, this hadn't stopped powerful clans from searching for it, especially the 4 great families. Every time the element of time-space appeared, countless amounts of bloodshed was bound to happen. Because of this, the prince asked Sulo not to leak anything about the dragon's ring, or else he wouldn't be able to protect or help her. She then asked how she could unlock the power of time-space, and he told her they'd have to run all sorts of tests on her body. Getting upset, she chased after him, but would slip and pull his towel down as Lulo walked in. Lulo's nose would start gushing with blood. After she passed out from the sight, Sulo rushed to her, and Lulo mentioned that the prince sent his men to save her and allowed her to stay here. Sulo could see that Luoyang probably didn't have any ill intentions. The next day, Sulo's test began with her eating a pill. Although it tasted disgusting, she kept stuffing herself with more of them. Seeing that this wasn't working, Luoyang decided to use a much more forward approach. He tried to open up her Venus points, but she was being uncooperative, refusing to let him touch any part of her body. He'd pin her down, but she thought he was only trying to take advantage of her. Later, while he was studying, the dark blood circulation in him began breaking out again. As he struggled to keep it at bay, he knocked over a scroll containing the language of the ancient gods. Out of nowhere, dark magic emerged from it and suddenly pierced him. As the dark blood began to take over Luoyang's mind, he'd hear a gentle womanly voice telling him not to be afraid. Refusing to be controlled by it, he used his lightning magic to shock himself and suppress the dark blood. Meanwhile, Fang went to check on Sulo, but he didn't expect to get attacked by her traps. And she didn't think he'd be the one to walk in. She apologized to him, explaining that this was all a misunderstanding. Furious at her, Fang accidentally blurted out how the prince was spending all day and night looking through ancient texts for her, despite his illness. Sulo would then go search for Loyang, and she'd be shocked to find him passed out on the floor. When she rushed to his side, the prince stared at her, and suddenly, his eyes turned red. Struggling to suppress the dark blood, he begged her to get away from him. She thought he was fooling around with his usual antics, but he'd grab her neck, choking her out. Sulo managed to slice his hand. Then, Loyang grabbed the blade from her, stabbing himself more to break free of the dark blood. After that, he collapsed again. Suddenly, a bright light filled the room as Li Yao Yao graciously appeared. She began using her abilities to treat Loyang. Then, she told Su Lo to go rest while she handled the rest. When Su Lo tried to leave, the prince grabbed her hand out of reflex. But Yao Yao removed his grip, letting her know she'd take care of him. Later, Lulo asked why she was dozing off when everyone else was looking after the prince. Sulo didn't see any reason an outsider like herself should be bothered. Lulo claimed Loyang and Yao Yao were like a couple drawn from the gods. Sulo was getting tired of her rambling and asked about the origin of the celestial maiden. Lulo explained Li Yao Yao was the Yao Qi Palace's master. Yao Qi Li's family was known for supporting the country with their cultivation of celestial-grade pills. Yao Yao was regarded very highly here, and she had a high spiritual level. At a young age, she became a high-level pill cultivator. In addition, she had found a master in Lianyu City to cultivate. That was how she and Loyang knew each other and became childhood friends. Back then, Yao Yao removed her veil and revealed her beautiful appearance. Although Yao Yao and the prince weren't married, Lulo mentioned both families had been on good terms. The ruling family had already taken Yao Yao as their daughter-in-law, and it would only be a matter of time until she got married to Loyang. Hearing this caused Su Lo to clutch her dress. She was furious, wondering why the prince was still harassing her. She felt it'd be better if he stayed away. Just then, Loyang approached her, asking if she was mad he hurt her. He explained that he was looking up how to unlock the power of time-space in the ancient texts, but due to his carelessness, his spiritual energy was messed up by the forbidden arts. Sulo teased that he should be fine now, since Yao Yao's medical skills were so good. To unlock her powers, he mentioned they would need grass of time-space, water of spiritual sky, and blood of dragon. For the grass of time-space, he had it in his mansion. However, blood of dragon was formed by the exquisite blood essence of the dragon gods, which he said was in Sulo's body. Lastly, the most purified water of spiritual sky was hidden in the crown prince's eastern palace. In order to get it, this was where Sulo's skills would come in. As she was leaving, she wondered why Loyang was eager to help her unlock the power of time-space. One night, Liu Jie drowned himself in drinks, complaining about how Bei Chen snatched Su Lo from him and assumed Loyang had instigated it. While she tried to console him, they were suddenly startled by the alarm from the Hidden Treasures Palace. Before he could go check, she dragged him down, and sadly for him, her masculine features were back. Meanwhile, Sulo's diversion worked, causing the guards to go search for the burglar in the woods. The Hidden Treasures Palace was built by an ancestral time-space magistrate, so Loyang warned about the numerous traps in here. According to him, the water of spiritual sky was hidden in an illusion-like palace. Just as they stepped forward, a trap was triggered, teleporting them to a large field of grass. Sulo would take the lead, scouting ahead, and the prince admired how cute she looked. He noticed some lingxi flowers and wished Sulo's wood element could be unleashed properly, so they could have a bountiful harvest. He would place a flower in her hair, complimenting how well it suited her. Lo was flush, but Loyang told her not to take it the wrong way, making her annoyed that he was playing with her again. She suddenly saw a skeleton on the ground, and they realized they couldn't stay here for long. After running for a while, Sulo fell to her knees, feeling exhausted. Then, she noticed the skeleton beside her again, but this time, its position was flipped. Loyang realized this was a mirror world, so he decided to destroy everything. But Sulo would stop him, pointing towards the cracks on the corpse. She figured the previous person had probably attacked recklessly, and it backfired on them. She then pointed to the sun, explaining that light was needed for a reflection to occur. Suddenly, the sun transformed into a flaming bird. Unbeknownst to them, Liu Jie was watching them through an oar, and he wasn't about to let them out so easily. Arriving at the hidden library pavilion, Loyang worried there would be more traps ahead, and if they made any mistakes, they wouldn't be able to protect themselves. As they walked around, Sulo could sense that something was watching them. She noticed something strange coming from the bookcase in front of them. The lights suddenly went out, and the bookcases started flying at them. In mere seconds, they were trapped. While Loyang protected Sulo from getting crushed, she struggled to break free of his hold. Upon seeing the talisman that was causing all the trouble, she got separated from the prince. She chased it down, but it trapped her arm in between the bookcases while another was about to crush her. At that moment, she broke free and landed safely in Lo Young's arms. Staring at the prince, she was flush. Then, Sulo told him about the moving plate piece that was controlling the bookcases. Saying exactly where it was, the prince unleashed his lightning, destroying everything. Seeing that Lo Young wasn't dead yet, Liu Jie was frustrated, so he enhanced the lightning clouds in the hidden treasure palace's armor. The armory contained Lo Young's collection of weapons, ranging from items from the reign of great Emperor Nixin to the valuable treasures of prominent clans. With the lightning clouds being more alert, the prince explained that once they entered the guarding area, they'd be attacked by countless lightning strikes. Sulo suddenly felt a sharp pain. Seeing how tired she looked, Lo Young proposed they rest for a bit, but she didn't want to waste any time. Lo Young's plan was to create a lightning dragon to open a pathway and distract the lightning clouds. They would have to get over to the door within the few seconds it would last. As he summoned the dragon, Sulo rushed forward, but she'd feel the sharp pain in her head again. Then, she noticed one of the swords calling out to her. So, she went there, and grabbing it, memories flooded her mind. She briefly saw an image of the goddess Yanhua. Lo Young called out to her, warning about the lightning strikes. In the end, he'd used his body to shield her. When another bolt of lightning was about to hit, Sulo used the blade to protect him. Then, she apologized for her reckless behavior. The prince commended her for becoming the master of Yanhua's dagger. With the lightning dispersed, they proceeded into the medicinal hall, where they came across a large pot known as the Purple Flame Furnace. And inside, it contained the water of spiritual sky they were looking for. To ensure Sulo could absorb it well, Lo Young mentioned they would need the help of other medicinal herbs. Since she was a wood and fire element user, he speculated that she might be an elixir cultivator in the future. After gathering all the ingredients they needed, the last thing added was a drop of Sulo's blood. Suddenly, they were teleported to a new area where the water of spiritual sky came down to her. As she drank, the ground started rumbling violently. Lo Young suggested they leave quickly and figure things out later, but Sulo wanted to take the pot since it had recognized her as its master. The ground shattered, and water started getting sucked up into the sky. Lo Young tried to stop it, but he quickly realized it was black water, which would remove his lightning element. If they didn't leave now, they'd be trapped inside. Amidst the chaos, Sulo was sucked into the water orb and trapped. While she struggled to breathe, Lo Young swam to her, using a mouth-to-mouth to give her air. If they continued like this, he would suffocate. So, she returned the favor. As soon as Liu Jie walked in to apprehend them, the prison was broken, and the culprits were nowhere to be found. Seeing this, the crown prince realized this was the power of time-space. Where Sulo and Lo Young's lips were still meeting, they found themselves inside the pot, and they were back in his mansion. She decided she'd use the pot for alchemy later on. Realizing how they moved instantly, Lo Young thought she was an incredible time-space mage. Later on, he came to check on Sulo, but Lulo told him that she was still in the bath. Since it had already been an hour, he decided to go in to check himself. Sulo was soaking in the water, recalling the moments of what happened in the Hidden Treasures Palace. When Lo Young interrupted her, she complained, explaining that she was trying to reproduce that moment. But she still couldn't open time-space. He then told her there was something missing, and then kissed her. Suddenly, she saw memories of a dark place full of sadness. She would see a group of people gathered around a young Lo Young and his mother. They cursed her, calling her a sinner, and agreed to kill her. As she was dragged away, Lo Young cried out, begging his uncle and father to save his mother, but they told him to shut up, saying he was meant to be a sacrifice to the gods. Lo Young's mother then slowly vanished as the flames ate her up, and she turned into a golden butterfly. Sulo realized these were the memories of the things the prince had experienced. She took the butterfly to the young boy, letting him know that his mother was still with him. The two embraced, and she let him know she also experienced pain, and told him not to cry, to become stronger. When she came to, Sulo asked the prince why she could see him as a kid in that space, and he told her they were just scattered pieces of a memory. Seeing how unstable her space was, he felt the three conditions hadn't been fully met. She asked if there was a problem with the dragon's blood, and Lo Young suggested they get the blood of a living dragon. Yao Yao would then come in, saying she needed to talk with Lo Young because important news had come from Yaoqi Palace. Sulo didn't want to participate, so she allowed them to speak alone. Seeing the purple flame furnace, Yao Yao mentioned she could use this to refine medicine for Lo Young, and it would be more effective than previous versions. However, the furnace already saw Sulo as its master, But even so, Yao Yao felt she couldn't complain. Yao Yao then mentioned the Sunset Mountain range had detected a beast wave. She was sure a treasure would appear there at some point. When she visited the door that day, she recalled Luoyang had promised to go with her. And of course, he still agreed to go, but he suddenly grabbed Su Lo, insisting that she come too. Yao Yao was visibly upset by this, but she could only agree to whatever the prince decided. Later, Liu Jie received word that Luoyang had gone to the Sunset Mountains. He wondered if this had something to do with the power of time-space. Thinking about how much he had taken from him, he grew furious, and then decided to set off for the mountains as well. Arriving at the mountain, Yao Yao was informed that the presence of malignant beasts had begun. Forces from all sides, including the palace of Lu You, Weiyang Palace, and others had sent people, but they were stationed outside the Luri. Yao Yao felt the others weren't courageous enough, claiming if one didn't enter the tiger's lair, they wouldn't be a tiger. She asked Luoyang that they do the same as before, but he told her the closures were too dangerous for Su Lo, so he decided to stay by her side. The prince then asked Feng to go set up the periphery. Once they hunted the iron-backed dragon, he'd retreat immediately. Yao Yao mentioned that the wave of malignant beasts was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Regardless, Luoyang wasn't going to leave Su Lo's side. He then asked Yao Yao to go ahead of them first. As Luoyang and Su Lo took to the skies, a flock of vultures flew past them, heading down towards Yao Yao. The creatures attacked the girls there, and Luoyang wondered why the vultures were acting strangely. Yao Yao was unfazed by the creatures. However, when she took down one of them, she was ambushed from behind by the Vulture King. Luoyang would fly to a safe location, asking Su Lo to wait for him there. He gave her a jade pendant, telling her to pinch it if she was in trouble, and he'd come right away. He would save Yao Yao just in time, as the Vulture King attacked her by creating a barrier. After defeating it, Yao Yao apologized for troubling him. She was also concerned about Su Lo, but he told her she was fine. Suddenly, the fearsome iron-backed dragon would appear before them. Together, they'd combine their powers to fight back against the beast's flames. Meanwhile, Su Lo walked into a cave, thinking about how good-looking, smart, and strong Yao Yao was. She felt like a waste in comparison. Her face was full of sadness as she stared at the jade pendant. But she wouldn't let herself remain so sad. If given a chance, she believed she could never lose to anyone. Besides, she still needed to find the dragon blood and release her spiritual powers. Su Lo felt it was better to rely on herself than on other men. As she accidentally dropped the pendant, it flew back, hitting her on the nose. A drop of blood then poured onto the vines there, revealing an egg. Feeling excited, she thought she had found some rare treasure. Then, she'd sense some strange movement and murderous intent around her, so she'd whip out her dagger. That's when Liu Jie showed up before her, referring to her as a space mage. Su Lo wondered how he knew, but she'd feigned ignorance, pretending not to understand. He tried sweet-talking her to come home with him, but she'd back away. Liu Jie told her not to be ungrateful, because no one would protect her now. He claimed Luoyang was busy kissing Yao Yao. He asked if she didn't find it weird that Luoyang was helping her so much when he could have all kinds of girls. Liu Jie then revealed to her there was a dark power inside Luoyang's body, and if it wasn't removed, it would keep getting stronger until it destroyed it. Su Lo was the prey because the antidote lay in her hands. The Crown Prince explained that when her space opened up, Luoyang would devour her, the same way he did to his mother. As Liu Jie tried to walk closer, Su Lo backed away, but slipped, causing her egg to fall. At that moment, a bright light shot into the sky. Liu Jie recognized it as the roar of a dragon. The dragon's fire then struck the island, causing them to fall off. When Su Lo opened her eyes, she quickly searched for the egg, and upon seeing the crack on it, she assumed it was broken. The egg then hatched, and a weird-looking dragon with a round head, feet, and tail popped out. It quickly ate its shell, and then snuggled up to Su Lo. But as she tried to explain she wasn't its mother, it bit her finger. The little creature then spat out a bubble that reflected light on both their foreheads. It began to react with the dragon's ring inside her, causing her to pass out. When Su Lo opened her eyes, she was in a completely new environment. The little dragon told her it was her space, and she was surprised that it could talk. She then decided to become its master. The water beside had a familiar scent. As she drank it, she immediately realized it tasted like Tianling water, and the pure fragrance was much better than one the Crown Prince had. Su Lo recalled what Liu Jie told her about Luoyang, making her wonder if it was all true, and if Luoyang was really using her. Luoyang and Yao Yao arrived at the place where Su Lo was supposed to be. Seeing that it was destroyed, the prince panicked. Yao Yao tried to comfort him, but he'd push her away, wondering why the jade pendant wasn't responding. As he coughed up blood, Yao Yao asked one of her girls to fetch the medicine. Filled with guilt for not being able to protect Su Lo, Lo Yang let out a burst of electricity. He blamed himself continuously and began striking himself. Yao Yao would stop him from hurting himself any further, assuring him that Su Lo was still alive and in a safe place. The dark power in him began leaking out, so Yao Yao had no other choice but to weaken him with her powers. She told him that if he didn't take his medicine, his veins would be ruined. If he continued like this, he wouldn't be able to protect himself or even Su Lo. She decided that she would send word to Fang so that he could lead some people to search the valley. Yao Yao then asked Ning to prepare to heal Lo Yang's wounds. She cried seeing the prince like this and vowed to never let anything happen to him. Back in Su Lo's space, the dragon explained that only she could enter here with her soul. However, divine beasts could also physically enter. She worried what would happen if she was in danger, but her pet promised to protect her. She wondered if it was good to lose consciousness with her body outside. Then again, she decided to enjoy it and stay here for a while. On the outside, a dark presence came over her body. The dragon's ring inside her reacted to protect her, but the shadow sensed the wood and fire dual space had been opened. As someone called out to Su Lo, the shadow disappeared. When she woke up, she saw a lady who claimed to be searching for her on behalf of Lo Yang. While Su Lo turned her back, complaining about more people not being sent to look for her, the lady pulled her blade on her. Su Lo was able to dodge quickly, causing the blade to graze her neck. She realized this lady was an assassin and asked who hired her. But the assassin answered that there were plenty of people who wanted her dead. The assassin's strike hit Su Lo's shoulder, causing her to fall. Her pet dragon then showed up to protect her, but it wasn't able to stop the assassin from pinning her to the ground. Su Lo asked if she wasn't afraid of offending Lo Yang, but the assassin wasn't fazed by her threat, claiming the prince was with his beloved Yao Yao. As the assassin's blade was about to strike, the dragon bit it and was even able to eat the iron. It then tried blowing fire, but could only make bubbles. The assassin threatened to kill its master if the dragon didn't come over quietly. Su Lo apologized for being a bad master and asked her pet to comply. The dragon would disappear as soon as she touched it. Then, a blade appeared in her hand, and she broke free. While the assassin was distracted, Su Lo's dragon popped out, biting her hand off. Su Lo would then slice the assassin's neck from behind, and when she uncovered her mask, she recognized the girl as one of Yao Yao's maids. Meanwhile, Liu Jie finally woke up. Upon seeing the jade pendant, he recognized the pattern. That's when Lo Yang showed up and grabbed him, demanding to know where Su Lo was. The crown prince claimed he didn't know, but Lo Yang didn't believe him. The prince's injuries started acting up again, so Yao Yao advised him to take a break and heal up. But he told her that she had no idea how important Su Lo was to him. Su Lo then appeared in front of them and was shocked to see the maid she had just killed. She assumed Yao Yao must have used some sort of spell. Lo Yang was happy to see her and tried to touch her while asking where she ran off to, but she'd push him away angrily. He noticed the wound on her neck and asked who it was that hurt her. She pointed to Yao Yao's personal maid, Ning, saying she was the one who tried to kill her. Yao Yao claimed Ning had been with her all this time, and she wouldn't even allow her maid to do anything to hurt Su Lo. Lo Yang also mentioned that the both of them had been by his side, helping him treat his wounds. He told Su Lo not to joke. His words got her angry, and she asked if her life was a joke to all of them. She didn't know what kind of deceiving spell Yao Yao had used, but she insisted her eyes didn't deceive her, since the assassin resembled Ning. Su Lo asked someone to explain the whole thing. Yao Yao would ask her to lead them to the killer's body. If there was evidence, it would be easier to figure out the truth. Su Lo commended her act, because obviously the body had already been destroyed, and there was no evidence. Lo Yang felt this was all a misunderstanding and tried to explain that Yao Yao and Ning had been with him since. He also mentioned that Su Lo was important to him, and he trusted Yao Yao would never do anything to hurt her. Su Lo didn't believe him, claiming it was only the power of time-space that was important to him. In the beginning, she didn't want to think that way, but now she knew it was all true. As she tried to walk away, Lo Yang held her back, asking her not to leave him again. He promised to do whatever she wanted. She would slap him, but he'd kiss her passionately in response. And filled with emotions, Su Lo transported them to her space. Lo Yang quickly realized where they were. Su Lo wondered why he was able to come with her, just the same as last time. She wondered if it had to do with the kiss. Recalling Liu Jie's words, she believed he only entered here to devour her space. When their souls came back, she pushed him away, refusing to let his plans succeed. Lo Yang tried to grab her, but as she pulled out a knife, Yao Yao moved to attack her. The prince ended up shielding Su Lo with his body and collapsed in her arms. Yao Yao then blamed Su Lo for everything. On the other hand, Liu Jie and his assassin decided it was time to make their move. Just after getting back from Sunset Mountains, Sulo ran out, and Lulo chased after her, asking where she was going. They arrived at Luoyang's residence. According to what Fang told her, the prince's wounds were getting worse, and Yao Yao wasn't able to do anything about them either. Meanwhile, Bei Chen, Fang, and the others were doing their best to hold down Luoyang and prevent his dark powers from bursting out. Sulo would step in, and although they weren't happy to see her, she claimed to know how to stabilize Luoyang's condition. As she kissed him, their souls would get transported to her space. Sulo realized the power from her space could suppress the power of his dark blood. Sadly, she was too weak, and speculated that if he devoured her the same way he did to his mother, then maybe he could get better. However, Luoyang let her know that he didn't have any intentions to do that, and apologized. Sulo remembered during her 5th birthday, her father gave her a puppy as a present, then presented a blade, telling her to kill it. She didn't want to, but she didn't have the strength to reject him. If she wanted to survive, she had to commit this first act of murder. She understood that Luoyang didn't have a choice because of his condition. Considering he blocked an attack for her, she didn't want to feel indebted to him, so she told him they owed each other nothing once his condition stabilized. As she walked away, Luoyang's dark blood became harder for him to control. The magic formation couldn't suppress him anymore as his powers burst out, sending everyone flying. That's when Yao Yao would immediately fly in, suppressing him with her powers. She told everyone that she had read all the books she could find from Yao Qi Palace to Hell City. Sadly, she wasn't able to find a cure for Luoyang. However, she did find out Master Rong Yun would arrive at Dongling Nation soon, and would be at Yunwu Peak. Rong was the strongest god-tier potion maker in Below Land, but he was known to be proud and cold, never involving himself with human affairs, so it wouldn't be easy to invite him here. Yao Yao then mentioned she had brought the tokens of Yao Qi Palace in Hell City. She claimed that as long as Rong was willing to help them, the 2 major forces would be their allies forever. Fang and Bei Chen also agreed to include their factions, making all 4 major forces in Below Land. Sulo would stop Yao Yao as she was about to leave, insisting she go as well. Yao Yao reminded her that she was the cause of Luoyang getting hurt, and asked if Sulo wasn't afraid that she'd kill her. But Sulo told her it all depended on if her hatred mattered more than Luoyang's life. She doubted Yao Yao's tokens would be of use, and claimed to have something that was only unique to her and the whole of Below Land. While the 2 girls argued, Yao Yao asked Sulo to promise that she'd leave Luoyang once they saved him, and Sulo couldn't be happier to do just that. Meanwhile, Liu Jie's accomplice blamed him for wasting their efforts because of his selfish actions of wanting to leave Sulo alive. The Crown Prince told him they didn't have the same goal. While the assassin's organization wanted the dark energy in Luoyang's body, he wanted Luoyang dead. The assassin advised him to kill the space sorcerer in order to achieve this, but Liu Jie wanted Sulo as well. Since there was no need for them to work together, they'd part ways. On their way to Yunwu Peak, something startled Yao Yao's horse, causing both her and Sulo to fall to the ground. Walking through the fog, it kept getting thicker, causing Sulo to mistake Yao Yao for an enemy. Yao Yao mentioned that they were in the Mist River. It was said that only highly skilled experts could pass through and reach the opposite side. Sulo would then grab her scarf and have Yao Yao fly her around out of the fog until they reached the foot of Yunwu Peak. There was a barrier around the mountain that prevented anyone from using their powers, so they'd have to climb. Yao Yao wasn't so good at climbing, meaning Sulo would have to take the lead. While they climbed, Yao Yao grabbed a branch, but it suddenly broke. Luckily, Sulo was able to hold onto the scarf tightly, saving her. Moments later, they reached the top and were mesmerized by the beautiful view of the sun. Rong Yun would then approach them, and he knew they were here for his help. Yao Yao quickly presented the tokens to him, but he let her know they were meaningless. Sulo would then present some formulas, feeling confident they couldn't be found in Below Land. To her surprise, Rong knew all that, and even the formulas for biological weapons on Earth. He was uninterested in her gifts. He then suggested they fight each other, and in return, he'd follow the winner of the match. Rong gathered his black and white chess pieces, explaining that when the black pieces fell, they'd be unable to use their powers, and that when the white ones fell, they could use them. Yao Yao told Sulo it would be more efficient if one person lost on purpose, but Sulo was sure that Yao Yao would kill her, even if she admitted defeat. She was also sure Rong wouldn't side with either of them. As the fight began, a white piece eventually fell, allowing Yao Yao to use her powers to overwhelm Sulo. To save herself, Sulo was able to use her wood element, but it was too weak to withstand Yao Yao's next attacks. A black piece then fell, turning the tables in Sulo's favor. The combat continued with much acrobatic spectacle until Sulo slammed Yao Yao to the ground and held her dagger to her neck. Winner, Sulo. And although Sulo won, Rong offered Yao Yao to become his disciple after being impressed with her wood and fire element abilities. He then gave her a token, saying he would accept one disciple in a month at Dongling Nation's appointing ceremony. Yao Yao then told Sulo not to forget her promise of leaving Luoyang once he was saved. With the barrier down, she flew away. After that, Rong gave Sulo a lot of items to carry, which they'd need to save the prince. She asked if she could join the appointing ceremony, since she had wood and fire element as well. But Rong reminded her she never even made a potion before. He would teleport with her till they reached Luoyang's residence. Sulo's body could barely handle all that, and she felt like she was about to die. When Rong told her it was simple space sorcery, she swore to become his disciple for sure. Rong would begin the ritual for healing Luoyang. After encasing the prince in a crystal, he told the others that Luoyang could be saved, but they needed more high-level crystal rocks to make the elixir. Fang and Bei Chen were willing to give all the ones they had. Rong then said they needed 100 yellow ones, 100 green, 100 blue, and 100 purple ones. They were all to be gathered within 6 hours. If not, they wouldn't be able to stop the dark blood, and Luoyang would die. Afterwards, Sulo came across the crystals. She recalled that on Earth, these were used to make jewelry, but here, they could be used to treat ailments. Bei Chen then came in, telling her she never knew because she had never cultivated. He listed all the grades of crystals, explaining they were essential auxiliary materials for cultivators. The higher the grade of a crystal rock, the rarer it was, and only by cutting the raw stone could you find out the quality of the crystal. Fang then mentioned that these were all the rough stones they had. Even the ones in Bei Chen's hall were far from enough. Fang suggested they head into the rough stone field, but Bei Chen argued it'd be a waste of time unless they could see through the rough surface. Sulo's pet then told her that it wanted to eat the blue rock sugar in the stone Fang was cutting. Apparently, the dragon could see through the stones and was able to tell the colors. She'd take the dragon's request, telling Fang there was a blue stone inside, and she would correctly guess it for money. To their surprise, she was correct. So, Bei Chen paid her, and she told them she'd be heading into the capital. Arriving at the capital, Sulo was scared that people would see her dragon, so she wanted to hide him. However, the dragon told her it could transform into an ordinary spiritual beast. It would hit her head and transform into a puppy that it saw in her memory. The little dog then went around picking rough stones for her. Before Sulo could pay, 2 siblings came into the market, saying they would buy all the rough stones around to celebrate the 60th birthday of their grandfather, the Lord of Lo Yu Hall. The young lords were known as Lo Hao Chen and Lo Di. The siblings would confront Sulo when they saw her paying for some stones. They told her to come back tomorrow, but she'd refuse, claiming her dog didn't want to. Hao Chen and Di tried to make her surrender with their goofy rap music, but Sulo would ignore them and leave. They chased after her and began struggling with their sacks, causing them to rip, and their stones got mixed up. Sulo's pet noticed the Lo siblings had tastier rocks. Hao Chen tossed Sulo double the money she spent, but she rejected it, instead inviting them to play a game where they'd cut 3 rough stones, and whoever got high-level crystal stones would win all the rough ones on the floor. They agreed, and the siblings decided to pick first. When Hao Chen picked up a particular stone, the dog started fighting him for it, even going ahead to pee on the stone. Sulo apologized and offered the stone back to Hao Chen, but he allowed her to take it since it was filthy. Afterwards, the townsfolk would gather around to watch the result of the stone guessing. Although the Lo siblings got 2 crystal stones, Sulo got 3, and hers were of higher quality. She happily took all the stones and left. As she was leaving, she approached Hao Chen and Di, telling them that Sulo was her sister who had betrayed their family. She offered to work together with them to get back at her, but they decided it was better to report to their grandfather. Walking around, the assassin who left Liu Jie approached her, telling her he was an ally who also wanted to deal with Sulo. He spoke about her struggles at General Su's mansion, so she decided to have a chat with him. Sulo would then return with all the crystal stones, giving them to Rong. While he worked on the ritual, he told them to leave the room. Moments later, Rong was done, and he stepped out to meet them. Luoyang also walked out, letting him know that he was stable now. Fang was so happy, he quickly left to prepare a bath and food for the prince. After Bei Chen left, Lo decided to take her leave as well, but Luoyang would stop her, insisting that staying by his side was the safest thing for her to do. She argued against that, reminding him that he'd become crazy anytime his dark blood went out of control, and he tried to devour her. However, Rong told them that if the space sorcerer was strong enough, not only would they not be engulfed, but they'd also help Luoyang get rid of his dark blood. He felt it was better if Sulo and Luoyang became allies. Sulo asked him how strong she needed to be to do this, and he answered that she would need the strength to be the ruler of Bilo land. Luoyang was willing to help her with the best cultivation resources, telling her she could simply depend on him unconditionally. Recalling how she killed her pet dog when she was 5, she agreed to be allies, but asked the prince not to treat her like a vase that needed to be protected. As for the appointing ceremony, if Sulo mastered how to make a potion before it was time, Rong would allow her to join. He'd toss a black piece to her, and then take his leave. Days later, Sulo and Luoyang set out to gain some experience, but she wondered why they were being so grand about it. Moreover, she wondered why the prince had given her this dress. His eyes darted away subtly as he tried to resist her beautiful, feminine features. The dress was his way of showing gratitude for her help and forming an alliance with him. The carriage would suddenly come to a stop in the middle of the vast sea. The waters rumbled violently as an island emerged from beneath it. This was Zijing Island, which usually lay dormant under the sea and floated up every 100 years. The palace before them, Ziyu Hall, had countless ancient secret tomes about cultivation. Not only did it have tomes about fire, water, wind, and earth elements, but it also had tomes about medicine and space. These were known as the Ziyu secret tomes. If one came into possession of one of these books, an endless slaughter would break out because of it. With Ziyu just emerging from the sea, best believe they weren't the only treasure hunters here. Different ships would arrive at the shore. Bei Chen, the Lo siblings, the Li siblings, and even some new faces, all here for the secret tomes that lay within Ziyu Hall. Upon seeing Sulo and Luoyang together, Yao Yao demanded an explanation. She'd be furious hearing that Sulo decided not to leave the prince, despite her promise. Yao Yao's brother threatened to deal with her, but she didn't want to cause a scene in front of Luoyang. They'd have to put their grudges aside because they needed to gather the power of all the elements on the island to open the gate of Ziyu Hall. Wind, water, fire, earth, and lightning elements were all here, all but one, the space element, which was said to have gone extinct. Using the current 5 elements, they'd all channeled their powers onto the door, but nothing happened. That was until Sulo decided to join, and the doors finally welcomed them. Regardless, most felt they didn't need the space element, as though Sulo didn't exist to them. Lightning cracked through the air as Luoyang snapped his fingers, lighting up the hallway. Secret rooms lined up on both sides of the hall, but it was said only one had the secret tomes. The rest were filled with traps. Sensing treasure, Sulo's pet ran towards Yao Yao as she picked the door. Her brother, Li Oxin, threatened to kill it, but Luoyang would stop him, causing them to leave. Following the dog, Luoyang and Sulo then went into the secret room. They'd find themselves in the middle of a vast desert, and like a bad omen, dark clouds filled the sky, and lightning cracked as the sand monster emerged. Sulo's body froze before the beast, but she'd force herself to dodge the monster's attack. However, Luoyang got stuck in quicksand. He'd watch from the sidelines as Sulo clashed with the beast. Her daggers weren't enough to deal damage, so she'd use her powers to attack. But the monster could revive endlessly, making it all futile. It snuck up from behind, flinging her high into the air. Just then, Sulo saw a sparkling crystal in the monster's body. As she fell back, Luoyang freed himself, just in time to catch her. The crystal was definitely the source of the monster's power. Without a second thought, Sulo forcefully unleashed her space powers to freeze the space around the beast, allowing Luoyang to destroy the crystal with a furious lightning strike. After the defeat of the monster, the skies cleared out, allowing the sunlight to fill the room once more. In return, they got a red spirit orb. Luoyang explained, before some cultivators passed away, they would compress their powers into orbs and pass them down. One would die for sure if it hit them, but there was a rare chance to benefit by gaining the powers inside the orb as well. He then tossed the orb to Sulo, thinking she might need it. Following that, water droplets rose into the sky, popping and coming back down as showers of rain. It was strange that their bodies were somehow clean now, despite not getting wet. The violent rumbling shook them as the sand sank, revealing the bones of a fish. Its flesh was restored, and its large mouth was open, signaling an open invitation for Luoyang and Sulo. The prince was wary, but he'd give in to Sulo's stubbornness. Moments later, they'd find themselves in the secret room of tomes. Amongst all the books, Sulo found a unique one containing the lost space. According to legend, they'd only be allowed to take 7 books. Meanwhile, everyone else who had chosen the wrong door was floating up in the room in bubbles. Once Sulo was done choosing, the space barrier slowly erased, returning everyone to the secret tunnel. Luckily for Bei Chen and Luoyang, Sulo gave them a fire and lightning tome. On the other side of the room, Yao Yao was on her knees, her eyes full of despair. Luoyang was taken from her. Now the secret books? What more was Sulo going to take? Master Rong Yun? Yao Yao wouldn't let this happen, and Ocean swore to get everything back that belonged to her. Suddenly, the whole place started to rumble. The island was sinking, They needed to leave now or be stuck here for 100 years. Sadly for Bei Chen, he'd fall into one of the rooms while everyone else ran out. Dee yelled for her brother's help as she held tightly to prevent herself from falling into the room. But he'd slip, causing him to roll and crash into her, ending up inside the room regardless. Luoyang and Sulo, who were still running out, got separated by an attack. Before Sulo realized what was happening, Ocean pushed Yao Yao and Luoyang into a room together, just as Yao Yao wanted. Sulo then got transported back to the entrance. Out of nowhere, Ocean attacked her with ice spikes she barely dodged. He was going to kill her and collect the secret books, as well as Luoyang, claiming they all belonged to Yao Yao. The power difference was evident. What was Sulo going to do? Before she could even use the spirit orb, Ocean trapped her in ice. But, managing to cut out a hole in the ice, she tossed out the orb, causing an explosion that allowed her to escape. Sulo would finally arrive on shore. Despite floating under the sun for a while, the ice still hadn't melted. Plus, with her weakened powers, there wasn't any hope of her doing anything. Surprisingly, Luoyang showed up. He was willing to free her, but only on one condition. He wanted to marry her, and even suggesting they cultivate their feelings for each other for 3 months. If she didn't like him after that, he'd stop bothering her. Once she blinked 3 times, Luoyang began channeling his lightning to crack the ice. But something was strange. His powers were weaker, and he seemed quite hurt. Regardless, he'd pushed through until Sulo was free. Thereafter, he passed out. Carrying him out of there, she searched for shelter, hoping there weren't any magic beasts on the island. She would spot a cave nearby and head inside. Sulo lit a campfire and set Luoyang down. What could have happened to him at Ziyu Hall? She wondered if Yao Yao had something to do with this. Right now, Luoyang was burning up with a fever, so Sulo needed to find a way to help him quickly. After leaving the cave, she grabbed a coconut fruit. She'd also find quite a number of herbs on the island, which could be used for medicine. Returning to the cave, she tried to clean Luoyang's wound, but he'd stop her, asking what she was trying to do. Since he was awake, she handed him heavenly spirit water and a dagger to patch himself up instead. The bottle and dagger clattered to the ground, as the prince claimed he was too weak to dress his wounds. Considering he drifted at sea for a night to search for her, and even caught a cold, Sulo didn't have much of a choice but to help. After she brewed the medicine and fed it to him, it was time to dress his wounds. While doing it, she asked what happened with him and Yao Yao. How did he also get these injuries? Luoyang explained that the only way out of the secret room was to unite the yin and yang. Back then, Yao Yao wasn't willing to do it with him, so he used another way. One could make a clone of themselves, and if they defeated it, they could leave. Luckily, Luoyang won the battle. As for Yao Yao, he wasn't concerned at all. After all, Sulo was the only one in his heart. Luoyang noticed a smile on her face just as she tried to leave. He would hold her back, asking her to take care of him. It wasn't just the company he wanted, but to be fed, tucked in, and most of all, for Sulo to appear in his dreams. Unbeknownst to them, Ocean washed up on the shore that night and got up to continue his hunt. The following morning, Sulo woke up to Luoyang clinging to her. She then shoved him off. Seeing his wounds, she tried to help, but he claimed he was fine. However, his internal wounds were much harder to treat. As she tried leaving to gather more herbs, he held her back. He couldn't let her go on her own. What if there were magical beasts on the island? With a day's meditation, he could recover. Regardless, Sulo was also doing this for herself. She needed to learn how to brew medicine before the day of the appointing ceremony. Among all the women Luoyang knew, Sulo was the most diligent and determined. This made him certain she'd succeed in whatever she wanted to achieve. While out gathering herbs, Sulo didn't expect to run into Ocean, and he was quite eager to resume their battle. Seeing that he wasn't dead, it meant he must have absorbed the powers of the spirit orb. There was no other choice. She had to flee. Ocean had obviously gotten stronger. Sulo would have to lead him away and buy time for Luoyang, or else they'd be dead meat. But even while trying to stop him with her powers, it wasn't enough. Coming across a river, she got an idea. Sulo hopped on a log, following the river's current. On the other hand, Ocean froze the water with his ice. When he caught up, he'd only see Sulo's old clothes, which he used as a decoy. Unfortunately, Sulo tripped while running away, giving Ocean the chance to trap her. Ocean wanted both the secret tomes and Luoyang. If Sulo were gone, Luoyang would naturally go back to Yao Yao, but Ocean would never find the tomes if he killed her. So, he tied up her hands, forcing her to lead him to where they were. She struggled to break free, but Ocean's daily binding rope was made from ice element. The more she struggled, the tighter it would get. Going into her space, she met with her pet dragon Meng Meng and checked his sharp teeth. Following that, she pretended to need to take a leak. Of course, she couldn't do that with Ocean holding the rope, so he let her go. While hiding behind a rock, Sulo summoned Meng, who bit off the rope, setting her free. By the time Ocean grew impatient, he tugged the rope, only to receive a rock tied to it. He was furious. Still fleeing, Sulo was at her limit. She couldn't go any faster. To help her, Mang found a crystal rock and ate it. Then, he channeled the power to his master, allowing her to go faster. She'd have a hard time getting used to the speed, causing her to bump into trees and rocks. Ocean then engulfed the whole forest in a blizzard, freezing it. While Sulo tried to outrun the cold, Mang decided to help by holding it back with his flames. But his fire wasn't enough. The little dragon got frozen, so Sulo quickly returned him to her space. A distraction would make her bump into a rock and fall over a cliff. When she came to, Ocean had caught up to her. He'd shoot an icicle, but it suddenly stopped, melting into water. The grass around Sulo was strangely red and warm, resisting any form of cold. Even Ocean's blizzard was completely nullified once he unleashed it. Using this chance, Sulo ran into a cave and he followed quickly. The area was burning hot with steam coming out of the ground. Sulo felt confident here, as she threatened Ocean to approach her if he dared. He'd conjure an ice sword and stand on it as he came down. Despite the advantage, Sulo's magic wasn't strong enough to face him, but Ocean's ice kept melting into flames. The fire within the cave pushed him out. He thrashed around, trying to cut the red vines blocking his path, but it was pointless. A huge tablet then blocked the entrance, stating that the fire within couldn't be put out, and in order to seal the cave, he'd have to sacrifice half his cultivation. Meanwhile, Sulo's body couldn't stand the heat anymore. Inside her space, Mang noticed fire suddenly rose on the surface of the water. Then, the furnace appeared. Back outside, Ocean happily gave up half of his cultivation to seal the cave. Now, in order to break the seal, another half of one's cultivation needed to be sacrificed. That's when Loyang crashed into the scene, demanding to know Sulo's whereabouts. Wrapping his hand in lightning, the prince slapped Ocean away, and then charged up his power to unseal the cave. But would he make it in time? On the inside, Mang shot Sulo with water gun, but it evaporated immediately. Recalling the furnace, he took it and tossed her inside. She couldn't take this anymore, as her will slowly faded. Memories of how she struggled climbing a hill played in her mind. Unable to handle it, she begged her father, but he insisted she needed to overcome her fears. He then cut the rope, leaving her with only one option: climb the hill. That's so messed up. That's when Yunxi appeared at the top, tossing her a rope and cheering her on. A young Loyang also appeared, reminding her she would succeed. He believed in her so much because he loved her. Sulo had started to fall for him as well, but she didn't have the chance to tell him that. All the herbs she had collected began flowing into the furnace, wrapping around her, and the sky water also splashed inside. With the mixture, she unleashed her powers, absorbing all the fire in the cave. At the same time, half of Loyang's cultivation was given up to undo the sealing. Crashing into the cave, Sulo's unconscious body lay before him. He rushed to check on her. She was burnt on the inside, according to Mang, all thanks to absorbing all the fire into her space. Loyang would have to kiss her to enter and save her. Just as he was about to, Sulo blocked his lips like a reflex and finally woke up. She never thought she'd see him again. Taking a closer look, she said the prince was quite handsome. He thought it was strange for her to speak her mind. Likewise, he complimented her beauty. He thought they were the perfect match. Then, it clicked for her. She wasn't actually dead. Sulo wondered what exactly happened to her. Opening her hand, she found 3 pills she had cultivated unconsciously for Loyang. The prince only had half of his cultivation, but upon taking one of the pills, it was fully restored. And he was so much stronger now. With these pills, Sulo could finally participate in the appointing ceremony. Over in town, Dee complained to her brother. Not only did Sulo take the rough stones from them, she also found the secret tomes. To top it off, she was going to compete against Hao Chen to become Rong's disciple. Hao Chen had already given up. He felt it was just better to let Sulo win. Though his sister argued, he offered to treat her to some sweet baked potatoes. If he still had his purse, of course. It had been stolen. Luckily, the thief wasn't too far off. Hao Chen apprehended the woman. She returned the purse, pleading not to be taken to court. In exchange, she offered to tell a secret about a prestigious family, an incident she witnessed in General Su's mansion. The siblings couldn't believe what the woman had told them. With this, Hao Chen was certain Sulo wouldn't stand a chance at the appointing ceremony. Back at Loyang's mansion, a fine feast was presented before Sulo for breakfast. If she ate all this, she'd definitely die from her stomach bursting. As the prince approached her, she was stunned by his beauty. Each falling petal highlighted his endless charm. He told her to eat more and nourish herself. After all, the practice at Ziyu Hall was tough. Mang accused him of trying to kill his master by overfeeding her. Loyang was tired of hearing this little dragon. However, Mang claimed he belonged to Sulo, and she belonged to Loyang, which meant he also belonged to Loyang. So, the prince would admire Mang's cuteness, praising him for being the cutest sacred beast in Below Land. Sulo then took back her pet and let Luoyang know that she didn't need all these romantic gestures. He answered back that whatever she needed, he was willing to get for her now. The appointing ceremony was the most important thing for her. Though difficult, it was her own. She needed to succeed. The dark blood in Luoyang's body also needed to be removed by her. So, he agreed to provide her with all the assistance she'd need. While Meng was munching on breakfast, Luoyang helped Sulo practice her combat. Seeing she was exhausted, he'd extend a hand to help her up, but Sulo used that chance to toss him to the ground. He was obviously pulling his punches because of love. Afterwards, she began meditating. Meng was bored, and as he tried to leave, he'd be startled by Luoyang's presence. The prince asked him not to distract her, and offered to take Meng where he could eat delicious rock candies. In return, the little dragon had to like him the same way he liked Sulo. Meng refused. However, that expression changed once the prince showcased all the tasty treasures he had. The blood of the dragon clan within Meng was precious. Due to that, regular food wouldn't suffice. Only rare treasures could be transformed into the spiritual power Meng needed. All these treasures could be his. He just needed to put in a good word for Luoyang in front of Sulo. Before the prince could pass on what to say, Sulo would interrupt them. She could tell they were scheming something behind her back. Meng folded pretty much under no pressure and exposed the whole thing. So, Luoyang was left trying to explain himself. The day of the appointing ceremony finally arrived. Liu Jie, being the host, would welcome Rong, the strongest god-tier potion maker in all the land. He then went ahead to explain the registration rules. Each family could register only one candidate. All candidates had to put their elixirs into the large gourd, which would determine if the candidate was qualified. People quickly lined up and began taking the test one by one. The first person's elixir was rejected by the gourd, and the second was outed for cheating. Hao Chen was the third candidate, who came with a very large pill. The gourd somehow accepted it, allowing him to be successfully registered. When Sulo's turn came, she was interrupted by Yao Yao, asking where Luoyang was. If Yao Yao's pill was of higher quality, Sulo would gladly tell her, so they both threw their pills into the gourd. A bright blue light shone towards Yao Yao's direction, signifying how powerful her pill was. But in the end, Sulo won, with hers being a purple light, the highest level of all. However, since only one member of the family could register, Sulo wasn't allowed. She had already registered before her. Dee then busted out some goofy rap lyrics, revealing that Sulo wasn't originally the daughter of General Su. Luoyang would then step in, asking Rong if she could participate as the member of the Lord Jin Mansion. With that settled, Sulo successfully registered. The first round was a limited time potion making. With the ingredients given, everyone had 15 minutes to craft an elixir. According to the level of the elixir, the top 4 participants would advance. The luckiest was Hao Chen, who had all the rare ingredients. Yao Yao barely had anything reasonable, but Sulo was the worst. Her box was empty. This was all Rong's plan, but Sulo didn't falter. She cut off a piece of wood from the box. Then, using her powers of the wood element, she grew various ingredients. The crowd marveled as Yao Yao used dual elements of wood and fire in her craft. Together with her ingredients, which contained earth, metal, and water, these 5 elements created the 8 trigrams. On the other hand, Sulo's flames were too hard for her to control. Considering she made her last elixir while passed out, she didn't really know how to go about this. Suddenly, her flame went out of control. In order to save the elixir, she kicked the pot before the pill could get burnt. Everyone was done. Rong began inspecting the elixirs. Among the 4 qualifying participants were Yao Yao, Shi, and Bei Chen. Sulo would come in 5th and be included in the remaining to be eliminated. On second thought, Bei Chen crushed his pill, deciding not to continue with the rest of the competition, claiming he had something else to do. Sulo would be given his place, allowing her to qualify. The qualified merchants would then draw lots to decide matchups for the next round. Those who picked the same chess piece would face each other. Thanks to the assassin's help, she picked the same color as Sulo. The second round of the competition was a one-on-one death match. No rules. All that mattered was the last one standing. Sulo had no doubts she'd become Rong's disciple. However, Yao Yao warned her not to lose because she wanted to take her life herself. At this point, Feng started feeling like he wasn't even a part of the competition. The participants then entered the ring, surrounded by a barrier on all 4 sides. The air was intense. No one knew for sure how this battle would play out. On the rooftop, Feng asked Luoyang why he thought she was dangerous. To him, she didn't seem great at all, but the prince claimed it was just his intuition. Was he too paranoid, or were his intuitions warning him? As the battle commenced, she shot black magic scythes at Sulo, putting pressure on her endlessly. Sulo was forced to play defense. Unable to fight back, she could only evade the attacks. She couldn't possibly have gotten so strong in such a short time. Something was wrong. Luoyang suspected someone was transferring magic power to her through space. The culprit had to be close by, so he'd use his lightning magic to search the crowd. Despite being knocked, Sulo got to her feet, fighting back harder than ever. But it wasn't enough to phase she. As a matter of fact, she was able to transform her spiritual power into a jaguar. Sulo wouldn't be able to handle both. While she clashed blades with her, the sacred beast used the chance to attack from the side. She would summon Meng to back her up. The little dragon attacked with all its power, eventually making the jaguar bow to him. Even without her sacred beast, she wasn't about to give up. She'd unleash a very powerful magic. At the same time, Sulo combined her wood and fire elements, refusing to be looked down on. She wasn't the same powerless and weak girl she used to be. Seeing how desperate her lady was fighting for her life, Lulo recalled how she was once a powerless girl as well. Her family was so poor, they couldn't even sell her for money. Eventually, she was bought by General Su's mansion. There, she'd meet Sulo, who was just as powerless as her. From then on, they'd rely on each other, never leaving each other's side. She always bullied them, but Sulo assured there'd be someone stronger who would protect them. Lulo never imagined that strong person would be Sulo herself. In the face of Shi's overwhelming magic, Sulo charged forward. She attacked relentlessly, but even with Meng's help, it wasn't enough to bring down Shi. Since there were no rules to this though, Sulo ate an elixir, which amplified her powers much more. She then used her space magic to nullify Shi's attack, rendering her useless. The crowd would cheer, seeing that another space sorcerer had emerged before them. It was said that when space energy appeared, it would be the golden era for below land. With her powers being sapped away, she was left in despair. How could she die in the hands of someone she considered useless? But Sulo would never stoop so low. If respecting the strong and bullying the weak were the rules she lived by, from today onwards, she'd change those rules and write down hers instead. Meanwhile, Luoyang finally detected the assassin who'd been operating in the shadows. He pulled the culprit towards him, questioning why he'd been helping Shi. Refusing to answer, the assassin escaped his grasp and used the jaguar to attack the prince. Luoyang subdued the beast with his lightning. He could forgive all the sabotage efforts that had been targeted at him, but targeting Sulo was crossing the line. He demanded answers. As the assassin kept trying to escape, Luoyang would stun him continuously. Luoyang figured there was some reason the culprit couldn't attack him. Just as Luoyang uncovered the hood to get a look at his face, the assassin quickly dissipated. Rong would appear next to him, explaining this one was just a puppet. The assassin's clan had been haunting Luoyang ever since he was a child, trying everything they could to provoke him. But today, they set their sights on Sulo. Was he the cause of this? His dark blood was tied to her, meaning she'd eventually be targeted. Rong couldn't tell Luoyang why the assassins were targeting his dark blood. It wasn't his place to say. This was Luoyang's destiny, which he'd have to go through. So, Rong advised him to cherish the time he had now. Back to the competition, the finalists were Sulo and Yao Yao. Everyone happily cheered them on as the final round was about to begin. Mount Golo lay to the south of below land. On its mountaintop were sacred trees that could never be burned down. The fires of those trees wouldn't burn fiercer from a violent gale and couldn't be put out by a rainstorm. The flames heated the stones around them all year long, turning them into molten rocks. These were transformed into firestones that could never lose their heat. A secret ground had been created by Rong for the third round of the competition. There, he had hidden a firestone. The one who brought it back would become his direct disciple. Using his magic, he'd transform Yao Yao and Sulo into game pieces. I don't know what this game is called. Setting them on a small board. This would serve as the secret ground. Sulo was the black piece, while Yao Yao was the white. Spectators could observe the board to see the direction the participants would take and their status as well. If the piece burned brightly, it meant things were going smoothly. But a dimmer flame meant there was trouble, and a snuffed out light meant the person was dead. There were no second chances in this last round. Luoyang was confident. Meanwhile, Yao Yao recognized this place as the underground maze of Yaoqi Palace. Being trained in this maze since childhood, she knew it like the back of her hand. This was just a bonus for her. On the other hand, Sulo relied on Meng's keen senses to lead the way. Yao Yao came across the Yaoqi Palace family emblem and the fulu her great-grandfather had engraved. It brought back memories of when her brother would hide here to scare her when they were playing hide-and-seek. She figured if this secret ground was really based on the underground maze, then the firestone was most likely at the Light Pavilion. Yao Yao and Sulo nearly ran into each other, but detecting Sulo first, Yao Yao quickly hid herself. Meng spat out the firestone, showing it to his master. He saw it hidden inside a wall, so he chopped the wall and got the stone. Given that the light pavilion was in the dark, all the treasures were hidden inside the stone wall. Usually, they'd have to use Yao Qi Palace's treasure map to find the correct place and get the treasure in the dark. Seeing how crudely Sulo and her pet took out the stone, Yao Yao decided to be crude as well. While Sulo tried to find her way out, she was blocked from both sides by large boulders. Yao Yao finally confronted her. She demanded the fire stone and ended up snatching it from Sulo's hands. When Meng tried to get it back, he and his master ended up trapped under a boulder. Sulo was confused as to how Yao Yao could activate the traps here. Since this was Yao Qi Palace's light prison, Yao Yao claimed Rong was simply helping her. This final was just a formality, and Sulo was her playmate. It was as if she were Rong's favorite daughter. Yao Yao would then activate the engraved symbols on the rock, causing Sulo to fall through the ground. The flame on the black game piece grew dimmer, signaling that Sulo was in danger. She tried carving out an escape route through the wall, and Meng tried helping by biting it. But in the end, their efforts were futile. The wall began closing in on them. The air was growing thinner. Panic set in. Sulo's flame was about to go out. Just before Luoyang could intervene, Yao Yao escaped the board. He asked how Sulo was, and she was upset that he didn't care that she had gotten the fire stone. As she presented the stone to Rong, he accepted it. Then, the woman known as the Twilight Mist Fairy showed up before them. She was the devil who killed the 3 top aristocratic families in a single night. She would walk up to Yao Yao, declaring she was her master. 15 years ago, Rong accidentally injured her old disciple in Twilight Mist Mansion until he couldn't cultivate himself anymore. To make up for it, Rong promised to find her another disciple. It was only fair. Yao Yao begged to be Rong's disciple, but he insisted Yan Xia would be fine. Xia forced Yao Yao to bow to her, and seeing the way she struggled, she was insistent on making Yao Yao submit. Back in the secret grounds, Meng told Sulo to try connecting her space to another so they could escape. She would struggle, seeing that Rong's space was crushing hers. Slowly, she began to pass out, but Meng shoved half her head in the little space she opened, allowing her to get some oxygen. She had no knowledge about using the power of space. Trying to understand her powers, she began connecting some lines, which allowed her space to grow bigger. Things were certainly challenging, but eventually, she was able to free herself. As soon as she came out, Luoyang's face lit up with joy. On the other hand, Yao Yao dragged her off, trying to get her to become Xia's disciple instead. But Xia's mind was made up. She'd bind Yao Yao and fly off with her. With the champion gone, Sulo would become Rong's disciple. Luoyang warned her to think about this carefully. He didn't want to watch helplessly again while she almost died inside Rong's space. But Sulo was determined to become stronger so she could help him and protect herself. Before paying respects to Rong as her master, she requested to speak with him privately. With that settled, she'd kneel before Rong, accepting him as her master. Later, with Sulo and Luoyang together, she could see he was upset. And why wouldn't he be? She'd be leaving for Yunwu Peak with Rong tomorrow. They wouldn't be able to meet each other for a long time. Sulo was quite eager to learn potion making and space magic. Luoyang was sad that they had just gotten into a relationship and she was already abandoning him. But she claimed the distance would help them grow. So, Luoyang decided to train back at Hell City while she was gone. Concerning their 3-month deal, he wanted to accrue interest on it. They had 2 months and 1 week left to complete it. He decided the interest would be doubled for every day they were apart. If they could only meet after a year, their relationship would be extended for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 weeks. Sulo and Luoyang would embrace each other one last time until they'd meet again. Arriving at Yunwu Peak, Sulo was taken to the small courtyard Rong had prepared for her. Here, she trained on her own. Her potion making was so terrible that she wasn't worthy of his teachings yet. He tossed her a book, asking her to memorize it before coming to him. Once she settled in, Sulo began studying. She stayed till the next morning without water and food. Eventually, she passed out, teleporting into her space. In one day, she had only managed to memorize 36 type of herbs. If she was going to memorize the whole book, it would take her about 6 to 7 years. Thinking of a way around this, Sulo suddenly saw strange symbols in front of her again. The same type she saw when she tried to escape Yao Yao's trap. Meng would refer to them as space heartstrings. It was a talisman used by space sorcerers to control and strengthen their power. Hoping she could use this to memorize the book, she grabbed the strings, but they'd suddenly disappear. She ended up distorting the time and space, causing everyone here to slow down. With this, she had enough time to memorize the whole book. In Hell City, Luoyang's master commended him for gaining power in such a short time. Luoyang then asked if he knew anything about Rong. The assassination attempts at the appointing ceremony and the appearance of Xia felt too well planned. But his master assured him Rong wouldn't hurt her. Back at Yunwu Peak, Sulo spent her days endlessly studying. Meng was about to die of boredom. He caught a letter meant for his master, sent from Luoyang. The letter expressed how much the prince missed Sulo and asked about her well-being. She was doing well, but Meng missed him more because of all the tasty treasures Luoyang used to feed him. The little dragon decided to write a letter back, asking for some treasures. Luoyang, who was oblivious to what was going on, thought he received a reply from Sulo. He and Meng would keep writing each other, but eventually fed up with the letters. Meng decided to go take some treasures from Rong's house. Rong would catch him sneaking in, and then teleport somewhere else. This way, Meng wouldn't bother his master. Shortly after, Sulo stepped out after finally memorizing the book. She'd be surprised to see her master outside. He already knew she would finish today. Now, they were going to commence the practical part. He led her to the herb garden to collect some herbs. Approaching a cliff, Rong told her she'd practice how to harvest bijou fruit today. He'd then push her off. Luckily, she grabbed a rope to save herself. Although Rong didn't warn that the garden was vertical, he let her know that he wouldn't save her if she fell from here. Sliding down, she located the fruit. It had the shape of a spindle with bluish outer skin and knife-like leaves. There was also an acidic but rich fragrance that could be used to clean wounds. Sulo recalled it was also necessary to harvest the bijou during twilight. Unable to reach it, she found some footing first. It was important not to touch the fruit before it was separated from the roots. Just as she managed to pluck it, Rong struck the ground she was on, causing her to fall. For a brief moment, he caught her, telling her to figure out how to use her space powers to save herself. Luckily, she was able to open a portal, teleporting herself back to the top of the cliff. Rong would congratulate her for breaking down the first barrier of space manipulation. He wasn't just teaching her potion making, but space sorcery as well. For others, vertical herb garden was dangerous, but for a space sorcerer, it was like a playground. Sulo would then gather the remaining herbs needed for the bijou pill. Her next lesson was to learn how to manipulate fire magic. As a space sorcerer, she needed to learn how to use it efficiently with her space powers. Once she could master the skill in lighting it up, changing it, and putting it out, she'd be able to make any kind of potion or pill. Sulo began practicing, and in a short time, she figured out how to control the fire pretty well. At that moment, she resembled Hua in Rong's eyes. When Sulo was done with her task, her master was nowhere to be found. Rong had rushed back home, trying to calm himself from what he felt. At night, Sulo gathered a lot more herbs. Meng asked why she was gathering all the basic herbs for cold remedy. She explained that the simpler it was, the more she could test her potion making. She planned to make a pill for cold remedy with a nice texture. Heading back, Meng noticed some bellflowers hidden within his master's clothes. These could be used to strengthen and level up one's power. They weren't easily found, which explained why she was so happy. As the wind blew some of the pollen on her face, Sulo felt a sharp pain in her chest. Entering her space, she saw that the bellflowers had been planted. In an instant, it grew to maturity. She'd used the flowers to quickly make a pill with the furnace here. Once the pill was crafted, she ate it and began meditating. Though the process was painful, she was able to absorb more energy. To Meng's surprise, she leveled up all the way to a professional potion maker. Such a thing had never been seen before. Sulo then immediately left to speak with her master. Opening the door to Rong's house, Sulo caught a glance of a beautiful painting of Yan Hua. She recalled Rong forbade her from entering and felt bad. As she was about to leave, she saw the painting was coming alive. Going closer, she noticed the lady there had the same dagger as her. Sulo moved her blade across the painting, noticing the lady moving as well. In the process, Hua's hair was cut off. Suddenly, Rong's voice yelled out not to touch it, and getting startled, Sulo accidentally sliced the painting, destroying it. She had no idea how much it meant to him. Filled with anger, he ordered her to get out. Thinking of how to make things right, she resorted to the Book of Herbs. There, she'd find information about the demonic acacia tree. It came in many shapes and sizes, and its acacia fruit was said to repair all kinds of wounds and scars. If its sap was used to make paper, she could create a dreamlike painting on it. The acacia tree grew in the middle of the battlefield between the human and spirit clans, which was now known as the Dark Forest. It was said that those who went in never came back. Regardless, Sulo was determined to make amends, so she quickly set out to find the tree. Meanwhile, an assassin tried to ambush Luoyang while he was meditating. The two would get into intense hand-to-hand combat, but the prince was too powerful and easily subdued the culprit. It turned out to be Bei Chen, who was just messing with him. Bei Chen then presented him with the 120-year-old drunken deity wine. He had stolen it just for Luoyang. Besides Luoyang's master, Bei Chen was the only other person who had climbed this lightning cloud to talk to him. As they drank together, Bei Chen mentioned that the crown prince had gotten married. Also, General Su's mansion had fallen, and she had lost all her power after the appointing ceremony. After some reports about bribery and corruption, the entire family was exiled. However, Luoyang was only interested in whatever he had to say about Sulo, but all Bei Chen knew was that she was still alive. Thanks to information from her spy, Yao Yao informed Xia that Sulo was heading to the Dark Forest. Soon after, Sulo arrived. Meng was then summoned to lead the way. For a brief moment, she thought about Luoyang, hoping he was fine. Once she was done making amends with her master, she decided she'd visit him in Hell City, but then quickly snapped herself out of her love days. Meng would suddenly run back towards her, and behind him was Zi Yan, who was being chased by a golem. Yan begged to escape with her, claiming they were destined to meet each other. She was impressed by Sulo's physique and skills as she battled the golem, but Sulo's attacks weren't enough to actually damage the monster. Just as she opened a portal, Yan rushed in, pushing them inside. Once they escaped, Sulo realized this girl was crazy. She told her, quote, "You need to see a psychiatrist." Yan would shower her with compliments, calling her the goddess of war. But Sulo wasn't inclined to become someone's bodyguard. She felt Yan could do fine on her own. The little girl boasted that she was only good at two things: running very fast and being honest. In other words, this little runt was going to be an annoying burden. Apparently, she got kidnapped because her family was stupidly rich. Halfway through the journey, Yan escaped, but was unlucky to find herself in this forest. If Sulo could bring her home, she promised to build a temple in her name and worship her. But Sulo didn't need any of that, because this girl was obviously a jinx. How did she know? The golem was standing right in front of them. She would use her space magic to help them escape again. As if the rock golems weren't bad enough, wild roots would emerge from the swamp in front of them. While Sulo fought them back, Yan remained useless, hiding behind a tree. Sulo believed whatever was controlling these roots also controlled the golems that attacked them. It had to be the acacia tree. It was possible its roots reached throughout the entire forest. As more roots sprouted, Sulo asked Meng to escort Yan out of the forest, while she handled the rest. Using both fire and space magic, Sulo conjured fire swords to attack the roots. Soon enough, she'd get captured and dragged off. That's when Yan finally decided to use her magic, exploding the remaining roots. What took her so long? All this while she was just pretending to be incompetent? Brought before the acacia tree, Sulo tried to grab its leaves quickly, but she'd get held down. The tree forced her to eat one of its fruits and swallow it up. Upon using her space magic, the tree sprouted in her space as well. While Sulo tried to make sense of things, Hua would suddenly appear before her, cutting off part of her hair. Hua would tie it to the tree. She had given it half of her lifetime's battle power and hoped it wouldn't break its promise. Responding to her, the tree let her know there was no need to worry, Hua then turned back, speaking to Rong, who suddenly appeared. He promised to do his best as her successor until she died. Afterwards, they both vanished. Sulo was trying to make sense of things when her attention was caught by a child's crying. The acacia tree would sing sweet songs and soothe the child with its fruit. On the other hand, Sulo was left even more confused. She was shocked when the tree spoke to her, asking why she had come. Apparently, the tree was the one showing her those images to see if she could remember what it had promised them. All Sulo knew was that Rong was her master. As for the promise between the three of them, she knew nothing of that. She then asked why it had come into her space, and it answered that finally, seeing a space sorcerer after guarding the dark forest for so long, it just wanted to chat with her. I can't believe all those attacks were supposed to be a warm greeting. The poor tree was about to die of boredom and loneliness. Its only saving grace was a space sorcerer. At least with Sulo, it could go anywhere, which was why I decided to make her its master. Sulo didn't seem to have much say in this. She let the tree know that she already had a dragon, but there was no rule saying she could only have one sacred beast. Despite Sulo's lacking eagerness, while running through the forest, Meng was nearly crushed by a tree, but Yan would come to his rescue. He still didn't appreciate the fact that she was deceiving them all along. She was a lot stronger than he thought. They finally found Sulo, but her consciousness was in her space. An eerie voice suddenly filled the air, laughing at them. Its evil intentions were evident. Smoke filled the air as Yan and Meng began fighting the long whips that attacked them. But this was all a distraction to get them away from Sulo's body. Xia and Yao Yao revealed themselves, but Yan and Meng hadn't even noticed. Using this chance, they knocked out Sulo's body, and with her remaining strength, Yan sent out a letter to her senior. While Sulo and the acacia tree were still chatting, he rambled on and on about his talent in dancing and singing, but she'd suddenly pass out and exit. When she came to, she found herself before Xia and Yao Yao. Seeing how Rong simply let her take Yao Yao, the Twilight Mist Fairy figured Sulo was the bigger catch. Sulo denied this, claiming her master didn't care about her at all. She offered to tell Xia everything about Rong, what he ate, when he slept, even how he trained. Yao Yao warned her master not to be deceived. With her vial, she cast the appearance-altering spell on Sulo. causing her to scream in pain. Meanwhile, Xia was giggling to herself, eager to see Rong when he would come to save his disciple. While Yao Yao guarded her prisoner, Xia decided to set up a defense formation to make sure Rong could never leave here. Sulo's face felt like it was being bitten all over. Yao Yao called it the Soul Lock liquid, which was made by her master, or in her words, that witch. Sulo could tell Yao Yao wasn't on good terms with her master, but Yao Yao told her to worry more about herself. Sulo saw no need for that, knowing she looked like the hideous face Yao Yao was hiding once she took off the veil. The narcissistic Yao Chief Fairy would only hide under a veil for one reason. She had become hideous. Back when Xia used the Soul Lock liquid on Yao Yao, her appearance was ruined. And all for what? Xia realized Yao Yao wasn't the one she was looking for. Pain and sadness filled Yao Yao's heart, while her master was more worried about Rong. She wondered why it had to be her, and not Sulo. Xia tossed her a veil, ordering her to keep an eye on Yunwu Peak, and let her know when Sulo came down. If Yao Yao did as told, the Twilight Mist Fairy would consider neutralizing the poison on her face. Am I crazy for saying it didn't even make her face that bad at all? What in the Chinese storytelling is this? For Sulo, there were only two options once the mask came off. Either she reverted to her original appearance and became Xia's worst enemy, or she'd become scarred like Yao Yao. The thought of Sulo's face becoming like hers was all she could think about. Surprisingly, Sulo offered to help her. On Lightning Cloud Mountain, Luoyang got Yan's letter, and after reading it, he quickly set out to save Sulo. At the same time, Rong also learned Sulo was in danger, and he'd leave to help as well. Back in the cave, Yao Yao laughed at the thought of Sulo helping her. Not even the Yaoqi Palace could help, and Xia wasn't even sure her scars and wounds could be cured. So who was Sulo to boast about it? But Sulo was in the same situation as her. There were three reasons she remained calm. First, she was emotionally stable, always calm and collected. Secondly, she was proud. Unlike others, she wasn't someone to admit defeat easily and let her enemy win. Lastly, she was very lucky. No matter the situation, she could always turn the tables. Secretly, Sulo opened a portal, allowing the acacia tree to spread its roots in the water. A year ago, she was the useless daughter of the Su mansion, while Yao Yao was the beautiful one who came from a great family. But now, they were in the same boat. Did they have to fight each other to the death just because they loved the same man? Sulo tried to tell Yao Yao that even if she killed her rival, Luoyang still wouldn't belong to her. So it was better to love herself first than putting herself down for a one-sided love. Hearing this made Yao Yao angry. She had known Luoyang for 10 years, and in those 10 years, she used that time to make herself a better woman. But she believed Sulo was the reason for Luoyang not loving her. Typical delusional obsessive type. Sulo knew women liked to lie to themselves like this. After all, she got stabbed in the back, believing she was Yun's true love. The cave rumbled with the acacia tree's roots taking hold everywhere. With this, the entire tree fully emerged. The roots tied Yao Yao, as Sulo asked her to undo Xia's formation and let her out. But not for free, of course. In return, Sulo would give her the fruit of the acacia tree, which could be used to make a pill that could repair all kinds of wounds and scars. It seemed too good to be true, but Yao Yao's desperation was written all over her face. After Sulo was set free, Xia and Yao Yao headed towards the south cave to avoid Xia, who was strengthening the barrier in the north. Once they arrived at the cliff, Yao Yao warned her not to use any spiritual power, because it would alert Xia. Sulo tried taking off the mask, but it was pointless. It would only come off once the time was up. She then gave Yao Yao the fruits. Unfortunately, the tables would turn on them, as they realized the barrier couldn't easily be bypassed. That's when Xia showed up. Sulo tried opening her space, but the barrier blocked off her powers. With nowhere to run, they engaged in an acrobatic display of battle, with Xia of course having the edge over them. It was obvious Xia lied about neutralizing the poison on Yao Yao's face, so Yao Yao had no problem betraying her master. Xia shot a flurry of magic missiles, eventually knocking Yao Yao to the ground. Just as she was about to get finished off, the acacia tree's roots held down Xia. With this chance, Yao Yao struck her down. Sulo figured the Mist Fairy must have used the power of Migu grass to suppress her space manipulation powers. However, the acacia tree managed to sneak into Xia's mansion and find her box of herbs. According to the Book of Medicinal Herbs, if the roots of mulberry, malice, and the hinoki tree were burned with a flameless fire, it would form a bell that could break the formation of Migu grass. As Sulo was making the bell, Xia realized this wasn't about to end well for her. With 2 rings, not only did the barrier shatter, but the ground crumbled beneath them, causing them to fall into the sea. Luckily, the acacia tree would help Sulo out. Shortly after, Luoyang found Yan and Meng. Sadly, he was too late. Sulo was elsewhere at this point. Yan blamed herself for trying to test out Sulo's strength in the dark forest. a foolish mistake she'd have to live with. Bei Chen soon arrived as well, asking what the culprit's goal was, and where they were most likely to take Su Lo, while Meng recalled being attacked by Yao Yao's white scarf. Yan mentioned that the smoke used seemed like Xia's tactics. Bei Chen called out Yan for being too weak. She didn't even know who her enemy was. Despite his words, she was determined to find Su Lo and claimed he had no right to lecture her. Luoyang was fed up with their pointless fighting. His girl's life was on the line. He decided to go to the Twilight Mist Mansion with Meng, while the other two would search the Yaoqi Palace. No matter whose territory it was, he was going to make sure there was nothing but dust left. Arriving at the Twilight Mist Mansion, he found Rong searching for his disciple. He sarcastically told him it was too late for him to be concerned. Then, they saw Xia's body washed up on a rock. Rong brought her to the shore and helped resuscitate her, and seeing he had finally come to her, she was so happy. She admitted to capturing Su Lo, and after undoing the appearance-altering spell, she found the child Rong had hidden. The fact she didn't resemble him made Xia so relieved. Now, they were both people who wanted something they couldn't get. But after seeing Su Lo's powers, she knew whose daughter she was. On the other hand, Luoyang was tired of all this weird talk. Nothing made sense to him, but he'd been suspecting Rong for a while and questioned what he'd been hiding. As usual, Rong wouldn't tell him. He mentioned that Su Lo might also be injured due to breaking the Twilight Mist by force. Before Luoyang left to find her, Rong warned that she might not be the same as before. Luoyang then told Rong that he wouldn't let Su Lo near him once she was back. After he left, Xia mentioned that she finally understood why Rong couldn't love her. It was because of that child. But even without her, he couldn't bring himself to love the Mist Fairy anyway. For her last request, she begged him to kill her, so she could be free from her obsession with him. As he placed a pill in her mouth, she bid farewell to the only man she had ever loved. Rong didn't think she was a bad person. All she did was fall in love with the wrong man. I beg to differ. He'd encase her in an ice crystal that would help her recover and open up after 100 years. When the time came, he hoped he'd be free, but for now, he had a mission to complete. In the middle of the sea, Su Lo was helplessly floating. She was a prisoner of fate. When she chose to take the knife from her father and kill an innocent dog, she was no longer herself from that moment onward. She would have multiple identities, wearing different masks. But these masks depicted her real self. Under all the lights, paintings, and behind the curtain of night, her real self never really existed. Due to this, she came to love and hate herself. Trying to use betrayal to win the battle from her past, she got the cruelest irony. She too was betrayed in the end. Those past memories she had sealed up were churning again like the mud on the seabed. Opening her eyes, Su Lo found herself in a strange house. The man who had saved her then walked in. Her eyes quivered in fear as she drew back. He had a strong resemblance to Yun, the man who betrayed her. She'd stumble in front of a mirror and couldn't recognize the person she was looking at. How did she become someone else? But this was her real appearance. And this was the same Yun whom she knew. He hadn't come to kill her. This wasn't some evil plot. He told her this was her real home, and he would tell her more, so long as she was willing to come with him. Coming from someone who stabbed her in her past life, she didn't think this seemed like a good idea. Su Lo once thought she'd forever kill and fight for others. When she came to Below Land, she thought she was no longer a weapon, and that she could control her own fate. But it was all a lie. She knew nothing about herself, and worried for her future. She questioned who she really was. While Yan was looking through a map, Bei Chen smacked the wok on her head, asking if she was cooking or frying. She yelled at him to get his hands off. No one was allowed to touch her pot, and she wasn't about to take it off until Su Lo was found. He asked if she'd keep wearing it even if she wasn't found. Suddenly, lightning struck the water. Luoyang appeared before them, fury in his eyes. He warned Bei Chen never to joke about that again. Under his command, more than 100,000 imperial guards had been dispatched to search every corner of Dongling Nation. A private army was also searching along the coastline of the Twilight Mist Mansion. Meng couldn't sense his master anymore as well, so everywhere he followed the prince, he asked the spirit beasts and birds for help. Up to now, more than 30,000 bounty friars of the Mercenary Guild had taken up this mission. They would seek out every potential clue, like hunting wolves, in the Northern Desert, Southern State, and Shijin Nation. The reinforcements of Hell City were also searching the outer battlefield. Yan promised to supervise them and asked Luoyang and Meng not to worry. She vowed to get Su Lo back, even if she was at the world's end. The three of them agreed to split up to search every corner of Below Land. Meanwhile, Rong was chasing some assassins into an abandoned house, leaving them with nowhere else to run. They couldn't beat him, but they swore death rather than reveal their secrets. Rong would show them a white, flaming token, which was a symbol of inheritance. Seeing now that he was Lord White Token, they agreed to tell him everything. They revealed that Sulo was with a young Yunshi, the third prince of Shijin Nation. On Yun's boat, he offered Sulo a hot pot meal from the other world, knowing she liked it since childhood. Back then, their adoptive father reminded them, along with the other kids, that they were nobodies who had no family or friends. He would praise Sulo for her accomplishment, stating that she had now become his adoptive daughter. She was no longer a nobody, but his most lethal weapon. After that, Yunshi brought a hot pot meal for them to enjoy. Though she declined, he persuaded her to give it a try. While she enjoyed the sweet, spicy food, he promised to always make hot pot for her whenever she was sad, because they vowed to be together forever, and he thought they were still the same as back then. However, Sulo told him she didn't like hot pot anymore, and as for their deal, even though he still wanted to be with her, she obviously couldn't trust someone who stabbed her twice. The first stab in her stomach, and the second in her heart. He claimed he wouldn't have stabbed her below the rib cage if he wanted to kill her. He explained that only by inspiring her fiercest resentment could the dragon ring be unsealed, so it could bring her back to where they really belonged. It was his last resort, but in her mind, breaking trust was easy and regaining it was hard. The only reason she agreed to follow him was to find out who she truly was. Sensing a presence by the door, she threw chopsticks and gulped with her aura. But it turned out to be one of the servants, who came to add water so the pot wouldn't get burned. Sulo would take her leave, but Yunshi would chase after her. On the deck, Sulo spotted a bird known as Golden Feather. It is said to have particularly good eyesight and was used for reconnaissance. Then, she noticed 7 ships within sight in regular formation. She assumed they identified his ship as a royal ship of Shijin Nation and had come to get him in trouble. He asked his servant, Yao Jia, for the nearest wharf, and she told him it was Feather Island of the southern state, which was 150 kilometers from Shijin Nation. So, he had her prepare some servant clothes, making sure they wouldn't be noticed. Arriving at the wharf of Feather Island, they discreetly blended into the crowd. Sulo wondered if her master would be worried about her leaving, so she decided to write him a letter. Later that evening, she was shocked to find out Yunshi was the prince of Shijin Nation. His father knew all about her and her origin. He too had been informed about her since he was assigned to be her friend on Earth. As they watched the beautiful sunset, Yunshi felt the sunrise and sunset of Bilo land were like their dramatic fates. He believed fate had set up a path for them too. Regardless though, she let him know the past was in the past. The old Sulo was gone. At night, as she snuck out of the tent, Jia followed her. Sulo said she was using the toilet, but she actually set out the acacia tree from her space. Instantly, the tree's roots spread out, grabbing the members of Luoyang's private army who came searching for her. It then passed on the message from its master, letting them know she had no business with the grudge they had with Prince Yunshi. However, she wanted Golden Feather to pass a message to her master, telling him that she had found the ingredients for paper making. However, she's been delayed due to some personal matters and humbly apologized. Seeing that the message was from Sulo, they quickly sent word to Bei Chen and Yan. The following day, Yan and his guards were ambushed by the two. They wanted to quickly save Sulo, but upon seeing her, their faces were like, "Who the hell is this?" They apologized for mistaking her for the wrong person. That's when Luoyang landed, sending Yun flying away. He embraced Sulo from behind, relieved that he finally found her. But once he saw her face, he chained her with lightning, unable to recognize her. During the years they spent separated, Sulo had envisioned their reunion many times, but she never thought it would be like this. Meng would come flying into her arms, scolding her for abandoning him, and she promised to never do that again. Everyone else couldn't believe it, but Meng would never mistake his master for the wrong person. Luoyang was still in shock. He recalled Rong telling him that she may not be the same the next time they meet. He told her about how he had sent so many people in search of her. Yunchi would interrupt him, telling her that if she was done, it was time for them to go. As he grabbed her hand, the two men fixated on each other. Lightning gathered in Luoyang's hand, and Yunchi slowly drew his blade. They began having a back and forth bout, but Sulo stopped them and then took Luoyang to the side. She reminded him of when Di revealed her identity during the appointing ceremony. Apparently, her appearance was changed when she was a baby, so this was her real face. No matter what she looked like, she promised to always be his only love. That aside, she wanted to find out who she truly was, and the only one who knew clues about her origin was Yunchi. She was supposed to go to Shijin Nation with him, so Yan and Bei Chen decided they'd come along. Sulo didn't trust Yunchi either, so she told him it was either her friends came with her or she'd part ways with him. Jia would interrupt them, asking them to settle their problems over a good hot pot meal. While eating, Yunchi spoke about how Sulo used to love bamboo shoots in the past. Luoyang was pissed. He'd stop Yunqi from trying to feed her, letting him know that she could like different things now as he tossed a mushroom onto her plate. They would start fighting over what Sulo should eat, but she'd simply try the new mushroom, regardless of her fears. Gia would come to serve plum syrup to ease the spiciness of the food. However, when it came to serving Sulo, her hand slipped, causing the pot to break and spill all the syrup. After that, Yun decided they should pack up and get moving. Over in Hell City, Xuan's master scolded him for procrastinating and failing to finish his mission, despite spending 6 years in the northern desert. Insisting he hadn't failed, Xuan explained that the traps he set per his master's order in the royal household of the northern desert had now worked. The internal strife in the Xuan family had turned the closest families into enemies. As for supporting the young prince to the throne, he was still waiting for the right time. However, Xuan's master wasn't about to wait for him, so he canceled the mission, deciding to find someone else to finish the matter. As Xuan was dismissed, Yao Yao stepped in. When she was done, Xuan would meet her, asking why the prettiest girl in Hell City was wearing a veil. Her face was scarred, a pain she would never forget, and it made her believe she'd never be pretty again. He wanted to punish who was responsible, but she told him not to worry. Xuan noticed she had changed. Now Yao Yao was cool-headed. She told him no one could always stay the same. Change was a constant law of nature. Just as Xuan left, Yao Yao noticed wrong passing behind her. Meanwhile, Liu Jie was back with the Assassin's Clan again. He promised to make things right, so he told the agent close by to stop following him. We turned back to Sulo's group, who were suddenly attacked by beasts on the snowy mountains. Fighting back, Luoyang saw Yunqi and Sulo running away. He tried to go after them, but Jia would hold him down, begging not to be left alone. As if that weren't bad enough, the dark blood in his body started affecting his powers. Once Sulo noticed the beasts weren't attacking her and Yunqi, she ran back, dousing herself in the sky water. She used it to attract the beasts. She then used her space powers to lead the monsters to a cliff and jumped off. They followed her, but she was saved by the acacia tree, while the beasts fell in the water. A bigger monster then ambushed her. That's when Luoyang came to rescue her, striking it down. Weakened by the dark blood, he'd fall, and Sulo caught up and kissed him, which allowed them to be transported to her space. The dark blood hadn't acted up all the while they were apart. Why did it suddenly come back today? Well, luckily, Sulo was by his side. She'd properly introduce herself to him as a senior potion maker and intermediate space sorcerer. Likewise, he was now a commander tier practitioner. They both had grown quite a lot. She promised to cleanse the dark blood in his body completely once she was stronger. She also told him that she knew Yunqi when they were younger and loved him then. But now, he was just a stranger for her to work with. Luoyang didn't care much about that. So long as they were together, now and in the future. That was good enough for him. Going back to the mountains, Sulo confronted Jia, tying her up with the tree roots for what she had done. Once, there was a magical book. In its very first chapter, it mentioned dragon plum blossom and a kind of magical beast called snow lion. These lion-like beasts were gentle in nature and lived on the top of snowy mountains. However, they had a craving for dragon plum blossom. With this, Sulo concluded that Jia made the hot pot spicy and salty on purpose and fed them plum syrup from the dragon plum blossom. Using this, she lured the snow lions to attack them, but thankfully, Sulo's supreme sky water was more tempting. So, she asked if this was Jia's idea or her master's. Jia admitted it was all her fault. Knowing how much Yunqi loved Sulo, she tried to remove the obstacles in his way, and said obstacle was Luoyang, who was ready to roast her. Jia quickly glanced at Yunqi, who immediately felt a sharp pain in his leg. He would then block Luoyang's attack, telling the prince to come at him if he wanted justice. Sulo then stopped the both of them. Despite his tricks, she wasn't about to let Yunqi hurt her friends. On the condition that he'd get kicked out if he ever tried again, she let him off the hook. Jia would thank her master for saving him, but at the moment, her eyes changed color, donning a fierce expression. As he pushed her away, she cast a spell on his leg, causing him more pain. Maybe he wasn't as much of a master as they saw him as. Arriving at the royal palace of Shijin Nation, Luoyang quickly noticed at least 50 people were waiting to ambush them in the hall. Yunqi wondered what his father was trying to do. Suddenly, confetti filled the air and spotlights came on. Taking the stage was the emperor, singing a welcome song for Sulo. He'd been eagerly awaiting for her arrival for the past decade and more, and mentioned being old friends with her mother. As for how he knew her, he'd dedicate another special number to explain. When he was a handsome young guy, he escaped from Shijin Nation in search of freedom and fun. But the world was too dangerous for a prince such as himself. Sadly, he would end up cold and hungry under a bridge. That's when Hua came down from the sky like an angel, handing him a bun and all kinds of food. After sending him back to Shijin Nation, she took her leave. He would come across her a few more times, but each time, she left in a hurry. He only knew vaguely that she was from a more advanced world, looking for a way home. The last time he saw her, she had Sulo by her side. Having too many enemies, Hua was unable to protect her daughter, so she'd ask Emperor Ouyang to use the power of the Dragon Ring to send Sulo to Earth. Yunqi was sent to take care of her, and when the time came, he stabbed her deliberately to help her return to Below Land. Luoyang questioned why the stabbing was necessary, and Yunqi explained that only strong anger could arouse the energy contained in the Dragon Ring. What could be more infuriating than getting stabbed by the man she loved most? Before Hua left, she entrusted the Emperor to guide Sulo to dig up a blood ginseng. It was said she'd inherit her mother's legacy once she ate it. Unfortunately, he still hadn't found it. Sulo then asked for some time to think about this. Yunqi told her to take some time to rest, claiming she would love the room he decorated for her. Entering the room, it definitely had a girly appeal to it, but Sulo saw nothing she liked here. She'd find a lipstick Yunqi gave her back on Earth. He wanted her to live more like a normal girl. However, she didn't care for it now and tossed it to the side. Meng, being stupid like usual, started eating it, thinking it was a lollipop. Right now, what she needed was the complete book of all medicinal herbs, but she had thrown it away. With no other choice, she began rewriting the entire book from memory. Watching from afar, Luoyang figured Sulo needed some space after hearing so much about her mother. He then asked Bei Chen to gather information about the blood ginseng. At the dining hall, Yan was completely drunk on alcohol, but still asked for more. With the servants unable to help her, she staggered her way out in search of more wine. She'd stumble across Jia, Yunqi, and the Emperor. Seeing that she was drunk, the Emperor advised her to go back to her room, but this was all an act. She'd use one of her enchanted origami to spy on them and find out what they were plotting. Just as Sulo finally got to the part about the blood ginseng, an intruder snuck through the window, but she was already onto him. It turned out to be Luoyang. He would then give her a change of clothes because she looked really dirty. In those clothes, Sulo's beauty was stunning. Luoyang was left speechless. Taking his cue, Meng left, leaving the two of them to enjoy their time. Luoyang pulled her in by the waist, mentioning how Yunqi was Sulo's lover on Earth. Regardless, that was the past. He wanted to make up for the time he didn't know her and wasn't by her side. No one else would spend more time with her than him. Just as they were about to share a kiss in that sweet moment, Yan and Bei Chen dropped in, ruining everything because they had information to share. They really couldn't have picked a better time? Come on! Luoyang fiercely zapped them out of the room. Yan and Bei Chen were thrown into a world of pain, forced to balance on a tiny stool as punishment. Next time, they wouldn't barge in on Luoyang's sweet moment. Luoyang told them to report everything they'd learned. While staying in that humiliating position, Bei Chen explained he'd gathered valuable information about the blood ginseng. Among the 100 treasures Mushin Mansion would offer this year, the only item above God tier was the blood ginseng. Everyone would be rushing for it, meaning Sulo's group had to hurry as well. Mushin Mansion wasn't just a manor, it was practically a legend. It was said that in ancient times, a treasure hunter named Mr. Mu stumbled into a valley overflowing with spirit aura. The land was fertile, and beneath it were magical vessels and rare resources. It was the perfect place to cultivate heavenly treasures and grow spirit plants. Mr. Mu built a manor on that land, which became known as Mushin Mansion. Over the years, countless factions tried to seize it. The Mu family defended themselves with traps and treasures, but the battles were brutal and casualties were heavy. 100 years ago, all major parties finally signed a peace agreement. The terms were clear. Mushin Mansion would open once a year and offer 100 treasures. Disciples from all sects would be allowed inside to compete for them using strength and luck. But no one was allowed to invade or claim the mansion itself ever again. Since then, the Mu family became increasingly low-key. Their descendants rarely left the mansion at all. Luoyang found it suspicious that the blood ginseng was suddenly available right when they needed it. Yan then revealed something even more concerning. She had caught Jia, Yunqi, and the Emperor secretly plotting. Jia wasn't just a servant. She and Yunqi argued, furious that her risky move nearly exposed them. Emperor Ouyang blamed them both for being immature and reminded them that their plan was something massive, something that could change the world. And to make it work, Yunqi needed to regain Sulo's trust. Suddenly, Yunqi came flying through the window. Luoyang and Sulo instantly pinned him down before realizing it was actually him. Yunqi warned Sulo to be wary of his father and Jia and urged her to obtain the blood ginseng. Sulo agreed to retrieve it, but Luoyang refused to let Yunqi or Jia accompany her. Yunqi argued his father would become suspicious if they didn't go. Sulo ultimately agreed to bring them, reasoning that at least she knew how to defend against the two. Luoyang's fury was obvious. Why didn't she trust him? He could get her anything she wanted. It was clearly a setup. Yet, Sulo begged him to trust her this once. Luoyang told her to do as she wished and stormed out. The next morning, they set out for Mushin Mansion, unaware someone was nearby, watching them. As the mountain path was narrowed, massive boulders suddenly fell from above. They dodged quickly, and Yan suspected it was Jia's plot. Loyang destroyed the remaining rocks before they could crush anyone. Then, a familiar scent filled the air. An illusion of Yunqi appeared before Sulo, offering her the dragon ring. Before she could react, the acacia tree snatched her away and offered her its fruit. Mang explained it was soul catcher smoke, and the fruit was the antidote. Sulo took it and regained her senses, only to be snatched away again. This time, it was Yao Yao's scheme to separate her from the group. Sulo suspected Yao Yao was working with Yunqi and Jia. To her surprise, Yao Yao wasn't here to attack. She was here to beg. Thanks to Sulo, most of the scars on her face were gone, but the worst one remained. Yao Yao asked Sulo for another sacred acacia fruit. She was ashamed of the scar and didn't want anyone to see her. She admitted she'd been tracking Sulo for a while, which was how she knew her location, though Sulo suspected it was because of the letter she sent to her master. Regardless, Sulo saw no reason to help Yao Yao now. The last time, she'd only helped because they made a deal. Yao Yao offered to become Sulo's servant, but Sulo hadn't forgotten what Yao Yao had done to her. She told Yao Yao goodbye and returned to the others, feeding them acacia fruits. Still desperate, Yao Yao followed them from behind. When they finally reached the entrance of Mushin Mansion, a massive boulder blocked the way. Bei Chen tried to cut it down, but it was repelled. Mang dragged his master through it, revealing it was an illusion meant to ward off anyone who was armed. So, everyone left their weapons at the entrance before entering. However, Mang was blocked completely. Treasure-hunting pets weren't allowed inside. Sulo felt helpless without him, and Loyang took it personally, as if she saw him as useless. He was still upset with her. Soon after, they spotted a crowd chasing someone for a treasure. The entire mansion grounds were chaos, people fighting everywhere. Then a masked man dashed past them, boldly declaring he had obtained the blood ginseng. Sulo's group immediately gave chase, exactly as the masked man wanted. Sulo's group chased the masked man through the madness, but he was too nimble and always just stayed out of reach. Yao Yao suddenly appeared and blocked his path, offering to catch him. In return, she demanded an acacia fruit. But the moment she teleported into position, the masked man slipped past her anyway, causing Sulo to land directly onto Yao Yao, mouth-to-mouth style. As the chase continued, Yan attacked Yao Yao as revenge for what happened in the dark forest. Then, they ran into a field of red flowers, and suddenly, everyone vanished. Sulo and her friends reappeared in a strange forest. They stayed close, searching for the masked man, but the atmosphere was wrong. Loyang suddenly stopped everyone from moving. He and Sulo meditated together, trying to sense the environment. A bird flew past a tree, and the tree's eyes opened. The moment it happened, Sulo and Loyang struck it. Bei Chen leaned against another tree and found another eye. He kicked it immediately, knocking the eye loose. They had stumbled into demon pupil trees, vindictive, gregarious plants, whose eyes were demon pupil fruits. These fruits devoured spiritual power from both humans and animals. Red eyes lit up all around them. The entire forest was made of these trees, and they were surrounded. The demon pupil fruits lunged, and a fight erupted, but there were too many. Yao Yao offered to kill 5,000 demon pupils in exchange for an acacia fruit. She's really not giving up on this. Sulo used acacia roots to attack, and realized the demon pupils were extremely sensitive to them. But while she was distracted, several of the creatures latched onto her arm and began draining her power. Soon, she was surrounded. Loyang and Yunqi ran to save her, but Yao Yao reached her first. Even while saving her, Yao Yao kept demanding the acacia fruit. She claimed she would rather die beautiful than live with a scar on her face. She would never give up on what she wanted. When Sulo asked about Loyang, Yao Yao said she wasn't interested in him anymore. She'd rather love herself devotedly than love him humbly. Seeing how much she changed, Sulo happily gave her the fruit. Once they escaped the barrier, Yao Yao thanked Sulo and bid her farewell. Sulo found it strangely cute, Yao Yao pestering her so desperately, all for beauty. Then, the masked man reappeared and cut down one of the trees. As the tree fell, the demon pupils dropped with it. Realizing what needed to be done, Sulo's group began chopping trees as well. After clearing the threat, they chased the masked man again, but he tricked them into entering another strange area. A thick fog surrounded them. Loyang spotted a sign and read it aloud. White Jade Bridge. Whether to cross was left to Sulo. While she hesitated, Jia stepped forward, claiming she wanted to apologize for the snow lions and offering to scout ahead. Sulo released the acacia tree, ordering it to follow Jia and bring her back if anything went wrong. In the fog, Jia was suddenly grabbed by a chain. The acacia root caught her quickly, but the root was cut clean off. Loyang immediately sensed it had been done by a sharp weapon. If visitors weren't allowed to bring weapons, then what about the hosts? Yan suspected the masked man might actually be the master of Mushin Mansion, but they wouldn't know unless they crossed. Yunqi agreed they had to keep going, since they needed the blood ginseng. Loyang argued they could find another one elsewhere, but Sulo decided to proceed. As they stepped onto the bridge, chains attacked them. They fought through and followed the chains into the fog. On the other side, they arrived at Juchong Hall, said to be the residence of Mushin Mansion's owner. Man could sense treasures inside, so they entered. Treasures lined both sides of the hall. While they spotted the masked man, Bei-chan chased him, only to reach a dead end. The group began searching for a secret door. Meanwhile, the masked man revealed himself. It was actually Liu Jie. He ran back to his beautiful wife, Mu Wu Yu, the master of Mushin Mansion. She questioned him, knowing he had deliberately led outsiders here. Liu Jie claimed he only wanted them to witness her stunning beauty and serve as her entertainment. But the moment she heard Sulo's name, her expression changed. She believed Liu Jie was still in love with his ex-fiancé. Sulo's beauty enraged her, and she pressed a hidden button. The ground rumbled violently beneath Sulo and her friends. In an instant, Sulo's group was trapped inside separate barriers. Loyang conjured a lightning sword and tried to break free, but it was useless. Sulo attempted to teleport away, only to be snapped back into the barrier. The prison was made from floating jade of Mount Leah, a transparent crystal that most magic and spirit power couldn't affect. Dark portals opened inside each barrier, releasing advanced demon pupil fruits. They fought desperately, but it felt like they were only wasting spiritual power. Even in the chaos, Loyang kept watching Sulo, worried about her. Sulo used the acacia tree to form a protective cover while fighting back, but she eventually ran out of power. Loyang, distracted by fear for her, nearly got knocked out until the enemies suddenly vanished. A disco ball dropped from above, and the master of the mansion revealed herself, Mu Wu Yu, the 186th generation head of the Mu family, both arrogant and confident. As the current ruler of Mushin Mansion, she possessed endless traps and treasures. She claimed she could crush them with a finger. Loyang accused her of violating the ancestral rules. That was when she revealed the truth. Liu Jie had lured them in. Seeing his brother, Loyang was furious. Yu considered who to play with first, and chose Sulo. She claimed she would play fair. First, she restored Sulo's strength, then laid out the rules. If Sulo could defeat her before the incense burned out, Mu Yu would show mercy, release them all, and give them the blood ginseng. But if Sulo lost, they would all die. Sulo tried bargaining her life in exchange for the others. She also made it clear she had never mingled with Liu Jie, so there was no reason for Yu to be jealous. Yunqi and Loyang refused to accept her sacrifice. Yunqi offered his own life, insisting they should share life and death together, but Sulo turned away from him. Loyang, on the other hand, told her to follow her heart and do what was right. He trusted her. Sulo was deeply touched. Mu Yu lit the incense, and the battle began. Sulo dodged attack after attack, hiding behind a wall and conjuring a wooden rope. She managed to restrain Yu's hand and tried to close the gap, but she was blinded by a burst of bright light. Then, she was slammed into a pillar. It didn't make sense. Yu was using the same ability Sulo had. How was she copying her? Meanwhile, Liu Jie remembered that the assassin clan had asked him to help Sulo. He subtly tried to make the incense burn slower, buying her more time. Sulo summoned a dagger and threw it to distract Yu. Using that moment, she teleported, got behind her, and slammed her to the ground. But then, it happened again. The disco ball glowed, and Yu escaped through a portal. She used space power to overwhelm Sulo and revealed the truth. The all-inclusive ball could copy all attacks and spells, allowing her to use them. Liu Jie hoped the assassin clan would intervene, but Jia, who was one of them, could do nothing. Seeing Liu Jie's gestures, Yu assumed Sulo was flirting with her husband. Enraged, she struck the hearts of Sulo's comrades. Despair crushed Sulo as she watched Loyang bleed out. Even after being slapped to the ground, Sulo crawled to him, begging him to wake up. She regretted coming here at all. Yu's jealousy only grew, and she inflicted even more pain on Loyang. Then, she began whipping Sulo, screaming that she was seducing Liu Jie. Eventually, Sulo retreated into her space. There, the acacia tree told her she might be able to turn the tide. It could sense a piece of its branch nearby. The story then shifted to Yaoya. After eating the acacia fruit, her final scar healed completely. She planted the fruit core immediately and poured spirit power into it. The core sprouted rapidly into a new branch. Because it was within 100 meters, the original acacia tree could control it. Suddenly, Sulo felt power flowing into her again. Yu hadn't copied the new branch yet. Using it, the acacia tree snatched the blood ginseng. Yu stared into shock, unable to understand how Sulo had taken it. Yu demanded Sulo put down the blood ginseng. She claimed she would allow anyone else to take it, just not Sulo. Sulo refused, and Yu began attacking with her treasures, many of which were disguised as makeup on her face. Sulo blocked, dodged, and evaded everything. Then, Yu held a blade to Loyang's neck, threatening to kill him if Sulo didn't surrender the blood ginseng. Sulo insisted that if she gave it up, she would only be able to save him, but if she kept it, she could save everyone. That was the true power of a space sorcerer. Yu sneered, calling it only a theory. No one had ever done it. Sulo was gambling with Luoyang's life, but even Liu Jie told her to take the gamble. And Luoyang believed in her too. Sulo made her choice. In exchange, Luoyang was stabbed. In the complete book of all medicinal herbs, it was written that with the blood ginseng, a space sorcerer could cultivate a supernatural ability, one that could reverse time and rewrite fate. Sulo threw herself into the furnace. Yu tried to stop her, but it was too late. Moments later, Sulo emerged. Time rewound. She returned to the moment just before Luoyang died and killed Mu Yu. The blood spilling from Yu's body formed into a sword and flew into Sulo's head. When Liu Jie tried to sneak away, Sulo stopped him and demanded an explanation. Liu Jie confessed the assassin clan had ordered him to seduce Yu into marriage and convince her to make the blood ginseng the grand prize. That way, Sulo would be forced to come and obtain it. Yunchi had also been working with him, helping guide Sulo smoothly into the hall. Yunchi insisted he had no ill will. He claimed he only cooperated with the assassins this once to gain treasure from Mushin Mansion. But when Sulo tried returning to the present, something went wrong. She kept slipping further and further back in time, unable to control it. Had she made a mistake, or was she lacking the spiritual power needed to fully control the blood ginseng? She found herself back at the moment Luoyang first met her in the room, before they ever left for Mushin Mansion. She struggled desperately to break free, but an invisible force kept dragging her back. Even Mang in the acacia tree couldn't hear her cries. Then, the blade that had entered her head flew out and returned to her real body. Sulo finally snapped back into the present. She touched Luoyang's face in disbelief. He was real. She was back. Tears spilled down her cheeks, leaving him confused. Sulo walked into the window, waiting for the moment Yan and Bei Chen would burst in. When Luoyang asked how she knew, Sulo held his hands and told him she had already lived through it once. She asked if he would still support her if she decided to go to Mushin Mansion again for the blood ginseng. Of course, he said he would always trust her. Sulo explained everything, how they all died in front of her, including him. When she took the gamble and seized the blood ginseng, she had been terrified and filled with regret. Luoyang was too special to her. She couldn't lose him again. Luoyang embraced her tightly, realizing she had brought him back to life. He always knew she would become the most powerful space sorcerer. But Sulo had a new plan for tomorrow. They would pretend to leave for Mushin Mansion early as planned. Halfway through, they would get rid of Yun Chi and his maid. Then, they would visit her mentor at Yunwu Peak. Just as Sulo was about to reveal that the king of Shijin Nation was working with the assassins, her body suddenly froze. Her eyes went empty. She became motionless. Luoyang called her name in panic, but she didn't respond. Outside, Yan and Bei Chen were still waiting when Yunchi approached them. They heard Luoyang shouting for help. He burst out carrying Sulo, demanding high-tier potion makers. Yunchi rushed to fetch them. Time was running out. At the life spring, the king noticed the mark of blood ginseng on Sulo's forehead, but he claimed he had no idea what was wrong with her. According to him, the miraculous spring could heal wounds, cure diseases, and nourish spirit power. The potion makers surrounded the spring, forming an array. The king asked Luoyang to leave Sulo to them, but Luoyang refused, insisting on remaining at the center of the array to protect her. When the king left, Luoyang felt something dark stir in his blood. Voices echoed in his head, tempting him to consume the power of space. Earlier, Luoyang had told Yan and Bei Chen that Sulo was suffering from blood ginseng side effects. Bei Chen hid nearby to watch the situation, while Yan ran to summon the spies of Hell City. Tonight, they needed to get Sulo out of Shijin Nation quickly. Yan ran through the streets, desperate to return quickly after gathering the people from Hell City, but everything went wrong. Every door she opened revealed nothing but blood and dead bodies. Even the fourth elder had been killed. The third elder appeared and revealed the truth. The Hell City spy network in Shijin Nation had been completely destroyed. No message could be sent out. Their people were either murdered or turned into traitors. And one such traitor was the elder standing right in front of Yan. A fight broke out. During the struggle, the third elder knocked over a table of fire, setting the entire place ablaze. Back at the life spring, Luoyang continued battling the voices in his mind. The temptation was so strong, he struck his own arm just to stay grounded. But then the king cast a spell, forcing Luoyang to begin devouring Sulo's space power against his will. Bei Chen had been discovered by the assassins. He was held down, unable to help. Jia had seen through the Crown Prince's plan to call on Hell City's agents, so she had plotted months in advance to annihilate them, even manipulating the third elder into betrayal. Yan was eventually overpowered as well. Everything looked hopeless, but she refused to stop fighting. Meanwhile, Jia boasted about their victory, but Yun Chi snapped at her to get lost. Jia coldly pointed out that he had already lost. all he could do now was watch Sulo die, held down by Loyoung in her final moments. Yunchi tried to pretend he was still in love with Sulo, but Jia saw it in his eyes. The love was real, and now Yunchi was regretting it. But he argued he never regretted anything in his life, not now and not ever. Jia didn't care. She eagerly awaited Sulo's sacrifice. When the universe restarted, the goddess would return. Sulo wouldn't even be born in the new universe. Yunchi would be left with Jia, the woman he hated. As the ritual began, Yunchi only smirked. Then, suddenly, Rong appeared. In an instant, Rong shattered their plans. He saved Loyoung and Sulo immediately. Assassins fled, leaving the king alone. Rong teleported Yan and Bei Chen back to the spring and told them to look after Sulo and Loyoung. Then, he confronted the king directly. The old man fought desperately, refusing to let a decade-long plan go to waste. But it was futile. In his desperation, the king attacked Yunchi and tossed him forward as a shield. So much for fatherly love. Rong evaded every strike with ease. He seized the king by the neck, disgusted that he would sacrifice his own son. The king didn't care though. Even if Yunchi hated him, he wouldn't remember anything once the universe restarted. More than anything, Rong also wanted the goddess to return, but he knew she didn't want to come back. He had to act according to her will. The king mocked him, saying that despite Rong's supreme power, his assassins couldn't kill a human. Rong revealed himself as Lord White Token of the Assassin Clan. Yet, he remained calm. Even though he couldn't kill, he could still punish. He transported the king to the most dangerous northern battlefield, leaving him to die and rot. When Rong returned, he admitted he did have a connection to the Assassin Clan, but he promised Yan and Bei Chen they had nothing to fear. He would explain more when there was time. The two thanked him for saving them and begged him to save Sulo and Loyoung. Rong explained he could only save one. He chose Loyoung because he lacked the powers to wake Sulo. He believed Sulo had reversed time once already, but the risks were severe. If a space sorcerer made a mistake, they could lose their way and never return to their body. The king and his subordinates had tried to fuse Loyoung's dark blood with the space-time blood in Sulo's body, forming the dark blood space-time array. With it, they could reverse time themselves and change fate. To save Sulo, they needed to go somewhere. Loyoung woke up. After hearing Rong's explanation, he was willing to sacrifice himself to save her. They traveled to Mushin Mansion, passing through the same obstacles and scenarios they had before. When they reached the hall, they met Mu Huan, the current heir of the 186th generation of the Mu family, and current head of Mushin Mansion. After Yan saved her food from falling, Huan offered her a treasure as thanks. Yan asked for the blood ginseng, and Huan agreed without hesitation. While Rong began forming an array to save Sulo, Liu Jie arrived at the mansion. Huan informed him she had already given the blood ginseng to Loyoung's group. At that moment, the rest of the crowd arrived, eager to steal the treasure. Bei Chen and Yan had no choice but to fight to protect it. As the battle began, Rong focused on his ritual, and he was finally able to bring back Sulo. Everyone stared in amazement as she broke through 3 different spiritual levels, reaching the title of a Grandmaster Space Sorcerer. It would take an ordinary practitioner 30 years, if not 50 years, to advance any skill from elementary to Grandmaster tier. Mang and the Acacia Tree also used this chance to focus on their cultivation, allowing them to grow more powerful as sacred beasts. Di and Hao Chen had no idea who she was. They had never seen this face before. Even though Sulo had now absorbed the blood ginseng, the crowd piled on her desperately. She'd blow them all away though, leaving them to run for their lives. Loyoung and the rest were so happy to see her finally awake. Sulo didn't understand why they were acting this way. All she could remember was having a long dream about getting stranded somewhere. Then, she started to break through out of nowhere. Seeing her master, she rushed to him and kneeled, ready to accept any punishment for ruining his cherished item. As he made her stand, she showed him that she had found the Acacia Tree, which could be used to repair his drawing paper. However, Rong let her know how dangerous it was to play with time. Although the blood ginseng could help her reverse time, revive the dead, and even wipe out the trace of life, the time and space boundary was extremely unstable and dangerous. Sulo didn't recall taking anyone's life, but when Huan showed up, she realized she had wiped out Mu Wu Yu from existence. The former master of the mansion no longer existed in this universe. Taking a life was a serious crime. That was probably why she was punished by the time-space boundary. Fortunately, Rong retrieved her spirit consciousness in time, though he warned she might not be so lucky next time. Sulo would thank her master for all he had done, and he explained he had planned to train her to become a Grandmaster Space Sorcerer in 10 years. Seeing that she broke through in advance, he felt it was time for her to inherit her mother's legacy. That's when he revealed that the figure on the drawing paper was her mother. To explain Sulo's origins, Rong would have to start with the reason why her mother founded the Assassin's Clan. The human realm, where Below Land was located, has a limited spirit aura and resources. People worshipped martial arts and were bellicose. The strong could do whatever they wanted while the weak only suffered. Those who attained the way ascended to the spirit realm. The spirit realm boasted abundant resources, which boosted its spirit aura dramatically. But above the spirit realm was the god realm. The gods there enjoyed great power and eternity. That was where Sulo's mother came from. Goddess Yanhua was in charge of space power as one of the main gods in the god realm. But somehow, she fell into the lower realm. As a newcomer, she found Below Land full of novelties and became confused. There were many things she couldn't understand. Eventually, she took 2 disciples, Rong and Han Yan. Right after that, she founded the Assassin's Clan, an intelligence organization with a powerful network. Their mission was to help her find a reincarnated baby. It was said that the newborn would bring disaster to the world. So, she bestowed the members with great magic and spirit power. But to strike balance, she also put a severe prohibitory curse on them, and that was, they weren't allowed to take a life. Whoever killed a human would commit self-end on the spot. It had been almost a century, and they still hadn't found many clues about the baby. Just when Hua was about to lose faith, an ally sent a piece of information that would completely change her. She had thought killing the baby was the only way out. However, the information on the steel fragment suggested a better way. She decided to follow the predecessors and gather the space power all over the world to create a new space in the vast universe and rewrite the law of heaven and earth. Her disciples didn't understand her words then, but they knew she needed more allies and had to cultivate more space sorcerers. Ouyang Ming, Twilight Mist, and the others were all allies recruited back then. But once the spirit realm noticed Hua's plan, they sent an army to stop her. It was a tragic war against an insurmountable power. Almost all space sorcerers were killed, and the Assassin's Clan suffered heavy casualties. Being pregnant, Hua knew they were bound to lose, so she used the divine power to give birth on the battlefield, hoping the child would grow up and inherit her space power. The dragon ring was her legacy to this child. Also, she would leave her child to her most trusted person, Rong. But he'd return to the battlefield, insisting that she leave her child to Yan. Ready to die with her, they fought together. But Hua would save Rong's life, leaving herself to die. The war was lost. Hua was taken back to the god realm, and no one knew if she was still alive. When Rong returned to the child, Yan revealed his true colors. His plan was to fuse her space-time power with dark blood. With this, they could reverse time and make their master come back. While fighting over the child, she was mistakenly thrown off the cliff. Yan would seize that chance to escape. In the end, Rong took the child back. Using the dragon ring, he cast the soul-splitting spell and sent most of her soul fragments to Earth. He also cast the appearance-altering spell to change her look. Together, with the last soul fragment, he sent her to General Su Mansion through the infertile concubine. With so many changes, she narrowly escaped the search of the Spirit Clan. As she only had a piece of soul, she never had any spirit power, and had looked silly since childhood. The very child was none other than Sulo. While Rong lived in seclusion to take care of her secretly, Yan took control of the Assassin's Clan and became its leader. Those who wanted Hua back, like the king of Shijin Nation, joined hands with him to search for Sulo. To activate the Dark Blood space-time array, blood ginseng, and the Dark Blood were the essential elements needed. Luoyang was poisoned when he was younger, because without knowing, the Assassin's Clan secretly fed him the Dark Blood. However, questions still remained. Why did Hua want to open a new space and rewrite the laws of heaven and earth? And what disaster would this reincarnated baby bring? Hua never explained these things to her disciples. Rong then asked Sulo to go to Baizi Town. There, at a secret ground, the legacy of her mother awaited her. Perhaps she would find the answers there. After giving her a clue to locate the place, he let her know she was on her own. Sulo noticed something was off in Rong's story. Her mother was a goddess with great ambitions, doing revolutionary work. So how the hell did she get pregnant out of nowhere? Who was Sulo's father? Rong claimed it wasn't him, and he had no idea who it was. As he left hurriedly, Luoyang offered to walk him out. Luoyang would confront Rong, asking him to spill everything he's been hiding since. When it came to Sulo, why did he always happen to be around by coincidence? Luoyang figured that Rong already knew the king would lure her, and also knew the blood ginseng would boost her spirit power to the Grandmaster tier. Rong must have led them back to Mushin Mansion. Knowing all this, if creating a new world in front of the Spirit Clan and God Clan proved hard for Hua, then how could Sulo do it when she was only a half-blood goddess? There had to be a price to pay, and Luoyang couldn't stand this idea. Furious, he would attack Rong, demanding answers. Evading his attack, Rong admitted he knew of Ouyang Ming's plans. Still, he took the risk of allowing Sulo to absorb the blood ginseng so that she could save him 10 years of training. As for the second question, he mentioned there were multiple blood ginsengs in the world. He foresaw everything Sulo would go through and was 90% sure she'd make it through. That meant the universe had been restarted twice. When it came to what worried Luoyang the most though, Rong told him he didn't deserve an answer. Returning to Jichong Hall, Luoyang was covered in wounds. He tells Sulo to forget the secret realm in Baizi and all about the inheritance. He let her know her master wasn't a good man and only saw her as a tool. Just this once, he wanted her to believe in him. Sulo didn't understand why he was so stubborn. Once she found the inheritance in Baizi, she could finally find out who she was, a question that had bothered her for 17 years. Plus, being a Grandmaster Space Sorcerer, she was closer to removing the dark blood in him. She thought her mother might have left some treasure in Baizi that would help. Yunqi, the king of Shijin Nation, and Rong, all these men could persuade her. Yet, Luoyang was the only one she wouldn't listen to. Despite how much they have tried to hurt her, she still willingly fell for their tricks. He'd push her away. Luoyang had never been more disappointed, so he left her to do whatever she wanted. On the carriage ride, Sulo wondered if she was making a mistake. Luckily, Yan and Bei Chen were still with her. Even if Luoyang never returned, Yan promised to always be by her side. They noticed a stalker had been following them. Yan assumed the person was here to kidnap Sulo, then asked for a ransom to empty Luoyang's pockets. But Bei Chen found it illogical. How could a space sorcerer get kidnapped in the first place? He was certain the stalker was here to assassinate Sulo instead. Be it kidnapping or assassination, Sulo didn't care. Soon after, they'd stop by a restaurant where everything reminded Sulo of Luoyang. She'd drink her sorrows away. Meanwhile, the stalker was still watching them close by. Completely drunk, Sulo staggered around, singing while Bei Chen had to keep an eye on them. Suddenly, they fall into a wall, luring the stalker out of hiding. Using that chance, they quickly surrounded the masked person, demanding she take off her disguise. It turned out to be Yao Yao. Once again, she was here asking Sulo to help with the last scar on her face. She had paid for a tip to find out where Sulo was, which was how she found her, and was willing to do anything for the acacia fruit. Last time, Yao Yao followed them to Mushin Mansion for the acacia fruit, helping out in a critical moment. Sulo didn't get what she really wanted. Either way, she asked Yao Yao to accompany her to the secret realm. When Sulo felt better about her, she'd give her the acacia fruit. Little did they know, Yunqi was also stalking them. That night, while he watched them, sitting on a rooftop, Jia approached him. Although his father had failed, she claimed their cooperation hadn't ended. The plan was still in motion. As she cast the spell on him, he explained he'd been following Sulo, biding his time to make things right. With Rong and Luoyang gone, this was the perfect chance. He'd follow her to the spirit realm, capture her, and continue the dark blood sacrifice. So, Jia was to simply capture Luoyang. However, she mentioned the prince had willingly come to the Assassin's Clan headquarters to talk business with Yan. Luoyang proposed becoming the new Lord White Token. He wanted to take Rong out of the picture, because otherwise, he might never win Sulo's heart. But Yan let him know that the plan was to sacrifice both him and Sulo to the Dark Blood space-time array. With that, they'd reverse time to when neither of them even existed. Still, Luoyang was willing to take the risk. After all, he already knew he and Sulo wouldn't end well because of Rong. He then showed Yan the White Token's soul jade. Apparently, he had quietly stolen it during his fight with Rong. Together, they joined their tokens, and Yan would make Luoyang the new Lord White Token. Luoyang had now joined forces with the assassins. The next morning, Sulo and her group were staring at the white go piece on the board. Rong had told her it was the clue to finding the secret realm in Baizi. Despite trying many things, they hadn't been able to figure it out yet. Yan mentioned that Rong didn't say anything about there being a clue in there, and suddenly, they figured it out. Gonna be honest, I don't really get it. Going into town, they decided to look for places or people related to the go piece. Sulo would then notice a hand fan, illustrating two people playing the game. Suddenly, the piece floated towards the fan, causing the magical beast to come to life. Immediately, they chased it down to an alleyway, where it suddenly froze. Trying to touch it, Sulo's finger was pricked by the thorn on its horn. As her blood was absorbed, a secret door opened. Combining their spirit power together, they would try to open the door, but Zwan would come by, using his fan to open and tell them to get in quickly. Unknown to them, two assassins were secretly following behind. Once they crossed over, Dong Feng Zwan properly introduced himself. As they explored the realm, the bridge suddenly threw them into the river. Floating down, Sulo noticed all the creatures were much larger than normal. Sadly, they were all separated. Yao Yao woke up in a snowy cold region. She'd light a fire to warm herself, but it angered the large seals there, and she ended up having to fight them. Bei Chen ended up underwater, where the large creatures were all eating each other. Here, he happened to be at the bottom of the food chain. It would nearly be devoured by a large shark. Elsewhere, Yan found herself in a region of lava. Trying to cross to the other side, she was attacked by a giant golem. Meanwhile, Sulo was in a rocky region full of mountains. Seeing a finger pointing her in a direction, she followed it until she came upon a rock golem impaled with a sword. Large boulders suddenly began falling, so she rushed to use the golem as shelter. However, the golem woke up and attacked her. She'd defend herself, shattering the golem's sword. But as Sulo tried to leave, the creature would throw a rock at her. We turned to Yunchi and Jia, who were trying to figure out where the river had taken Sulo. Seeing a large bird being devoured by a plant, Yunchi was frightened. As Jia called back his attention, he led her to where the man-eating plants were. There, he set her up, causing the plant to start devouring her. At that moment, she cast a bone-twisting spell on him, demanding he get her out. But rather than do that, he would sever his arm, all for Sulo. Back with Sulo, Zwan would come to her aid while fighting the golem. Together, they take down the monster. After that, he gave her an apple while hiding his sinister expression. They then walk into the direction of where the giant hand was pointing. In Sulo's space, Meng felt bad they couldn't do anything to help their master. To cheer him up, the acacia tree fed him his fruits. But the little dragon would start eating up everything. On the brink of death, Jia would be saved by Lo Yang. Hearing that Yunchi left her to die, he took this as a betrayal against the assassin's clan. He would then send his agents to find the third prince of Shijin Nation. Meanwhile, Bei Chen would save Yan, who was floating in the river of lava. He'd then take her to the forest, where he'd treat her wounds with fish liver oil, but he made sure not to take a peek while doing so. Waking up, Yan was startled, seeing she was wrapped in scales. She questioned Bei Chen, asking why he changed her clothes and made her smell. He explained that he used up all the refined fish liver oil he had, and then wrapped most of the shark's skin on her. Suddenly, Yunchi showed up in front of them. Bleeding out, he fell to the ground. He told them Sulo was in danger, and then passed out. Yan shook Bei Chen's fish liver oil to treat Yunchi's wounds, so they could find out what happened to Sulo. Meanwhile, Swan and Sulo came by a forked road. There, a ladybug tried dragging Sulo in the opposite direction of where Zwan pointed, but he told her to pay it no mind, swatting it away. Shortly after, she started feeling weak, and sensed she had been poisoned. Zwan quickly carried her and zoomed off. This wasn't the effect of the ladybug. She knew it had to be the fruit he gave her, but Sulo was too weak to fight it off. To make things worse, the acacia tree couldn't feed her its fruit. Because Meng had eaten everything, Zwan would be stopped by Yao Yao. He claimed Sulo had eaten a poisonous mushroom, causing her to collapse, so he was taking her back to Baizi to see a town doctor. She wouldn't be fooled, however. Yao Yao knew he fed her sky viper berry. She told him to put Sulo down. Zwan tried to persuade her by saying Lo Yang always ignored her because of Sulo, but Yao Yao didn't care about that now. Unable to persuade her, he attacked with daggers. The Swan Yen clan had offered him 10 city-states in the northern desert. In exchange, he'd bring them a puppet space sorcerer. With this, he was no longer stuck to Hell City. Of course, Yao Yao wouldn't stand for his betrayal. Long Qing Tian once treated him like his own, and Zwan pledged loyalty to Hell City. But once the new disciples came in, Zwan remained in the shadows. His master even supplied Lo Yang with abundant high-tier treasures and taught him top-tier spells. Later, when Zwan reached adulthood, he was sent far, far away. He stayed in the wind and sands of the northern desert for 6 years, so Tian was the only one he could blame. In the midst of battle, Yao Yao stabbed his shoulder, causing him to drop Sulo. Then, she tied her rope around his neck. But Zwan wasn't fazed. He had already considered all the consequences of betraying their master. Maybe Tian would have killed him, or he would have died in a duel with Lo Yang. Maybe the northern desert royals would even get rid of him, but he never imagined dying in Yao Yao's hands. After killing Zwan, Yao Yao would give Sulo the antidote to the poison. In return, Sulo wanted to give her the acacia fruit, but suddenly saw a seed in her hand. It turned out, Yao Yao didn't need the fruit. Her face was completely healed, thanks to the fruit she got back at the Twilight Mist Mansion. So why risk her life all the way to follow Sulo? Yao Yao just needed a convincing excuse to approach her. Later on, her master had told her to keep her veil on and wait for Sulo on the outskirts of Shijin Nation. From there, she'd follow her to Mushin Mansion, where she finally got the acacia fruit and used the core to help Sulo. However, if she saw wrong on the way out of Shijin Nation, she was to rush to Baizi town and help Sulo if she was in danger. And if Zwan stood in their way, she'd kill him. Yao Yao asked Tian why he made such a detailed plan for Sulo. He mentioned that Sulo's existence was not accepted by heaven and earth. The sun and moon dared not shine. As a human, she would cease to exist. On their way out, Yao Yao spoke a bit about her master. Tian was very strict and had a special training method. When she first became a disciple, he threw her a little cute cat, and with her holding it in her arms, Tian threw her a knife. Once, when they were training to fly, Tian took everyone to the cliff. He'd suddenly kick Yao Yao without protective measures, despite the fact she was afraid of heights. These methods seemed a bit familiar to Sulo, but she decided not to think about it. Back in the forest, Yunchi finally woke up. He told Bei Chen and Yan about the assassins who were after Sulo, including Lo Yang. Out of nowhere, a large wolf leaped out of the bushes, attacking Yunqi and dragging him away. Left out in the open, he would be cornered by Jia and Luoyang. He was disappointed seeing that Luoyang joined the assassin's clan. Most of all, Su Lo would be disappointed by his betrayal. Jia was left to deal with Yunqi, while everyone else split up to search for Su Lo. While Bei Chen and Yan were contemplating whether to save Yunqi, they were approached by someone. Stargazing beneath the trees, Su Lo teased Yao Yao about how girls living in dorms usually shared secrets every night. Of course, she claimed she had no intention of sharing anything with Yao Yao since they weren't close. But the moment Yao Yao mentioned she had a secret, Su Lo leaned in eagerly. Yao Yao confessed that back at Twilight Mist Mansion, she used to wait every single day for Luoyang to come rescue her. As the days passed and he never appeared, her hope slowly turned into resentment, especially towards Su Lo. Eventually, she realized her feelings mirrored Xia's resentment towards Hua waiting for Rong. Yao Yao feared she'd end up just like Xia, bitter, hostile towards the world, and consumed by misery. She didn't know how to escape that fate until the day Su Lo was captured and advised her to love herself more. That simple advice changed everything. Yao Yao stopped waiting for Luoyang and stopped building her world around him. Instead, she began to cherish herself. Now, she liked who she was far more than before. Su Lo smiled and told her that when someone truly loved themselves, the right person, the one who truly understands and loves them, would eventually appear. The following morning, Luoyang suddenly arrived, and furious at his disappearance, Su Lo stomped on his foot before hearing him out. He apologized sincerely for leaving her and presented a map of the secret realm as proof of his regret. With Luoyang present, Yao Yao decided to excuse herself, but Su Lo stopped her, insisting she was far more useful than he was. After all, it was Yao Yao who had saved her life. Only moments after leaving did Yao Yao realize the emblem on Luoyang's arm belonged to the assassin's clan. Alarmed, she rushed back, but they were already gone. She thought surely he couldn't truly be affiliated with the assassins. Could he? Elsewhere, Yunqi suffered under Jia's cruel methods entangled by man-eating plants. Even Jia felt a flicker of regret at what she had to do. Soon, assassins reported that Luoyang had found Su Lo, but hadn't signaled for a return to headquarters yet. Instead, he had taken her towards the Temple of Inheritance, and he possessed a map. Using a tracking spell, Jia confirmed their direction. Yan suddenly appeared and revealed why Luoyang was called the Evil Lord. He had never trusted Luoyang and had secretly placed a tracking spell on him. Together, they followed the trail. They eventually reached the graveyard, the final resting place of those who perished in the Great War. Yan hadn't expected to find these graves here. Standing before them only strengthened his resolve to sacrifice Su Lo and resurrect the goddess. Meanwhile, at the Temple of Inheritance, Luoyang offered Su Lo quiet advice. Whatever her mother might say inside, she was not to accept it blindly. She needed to analyze, weigh her choices, and most importantly, follow her own heart. He promised her one thing: he would never again force her to act against her will in the name of love. Whatever she chose, he would support her. In that tender moment, they shared a kiss before she stepped into the temple. Shortly after, Luoyang met Yan and the others. He told them it was too late. Su Lo had already entered. The scenery shifted. Yan realized they had been trapped inside a daydream, crafted from paper made with acacia sap, something only Rong could create. Luoyang declared that he had chosen righteousness. Rong's offer had been better, but by joining the assassin's clan, Luoyang had forfeited the right to kill. Then, Rong appeared. He was no longer Lord White Token, and free to eliminate the traitors himself. With a single spell, he subdued Yan and his followers. Yan attempted to flee, but it was futile. Rong had reached semi-god tier, far beyond the limits originally imposed by the goddess. Rong reminded Yan they were once brothers in arms, but they both fell in love with the woman they should have. They should have kept it to themselves and fulfilled her request. In his final moments, tears filled Yan's eyes, not of regret, but of hatred towards Su Lo and her unknown father. Rong then healed Luoyang. Hidden behind a grave, Jia seized the red token Soul Jade and slipped away. Rong seemed unaware, but allowed it. Earlier, in his confrontation with Luoyang, Rong had warned him that Su Lo could never live as an ordinary girl by his side. Just as Rong's own master would have left him had she succeeded, fate would demand sacrifice. Luoyang understood that no matter what, a cruel destiny awaited them, but he only cared about Su Lo's wishes. To give her true freedom of choice, Rong entrusted him with the White Token Soul Jade, allowing him to become the new Lord White Token, so Rong could eliminate Yan without restriction. With Lord Red Token dead, Luoyang stood as the sole leader of the Assassin's Clan. Presented with two choices, rule the clan or sever his ties, he didn't hesitate. He shattered the Soul Jade, ending his connection to the assassins. And within the temple, Su Lo finally came face to face with her mother. Yan, Bei Chen, and the others regrouped with Luoyang and Rong outside the Temple of Inheritance. Luoyang was surprised to see Tian here and immediately asked why he had come. Tian, however, gave no explanation. He simply said they would wait until Sulo came out. His evasiveness only deepened Luoyang's suspicions, but with no other choice, they all remained outside in tense silence. Inside the temple, Sulo finally encountered a fragment of her mother's consciousness, a remnant of will, almost like a strand of living code. Even in this ethereal form, Yanhua was breathtaking. Overcome with emotion, Sulo rushed forward, and the mother and daughter embraced. Hua told her that she'd been watching her all along. Her first smile, her first brave act, the first fairy tale Yunqi told her first love, and the betrayal that followed. She had witnessed Sulo's struggles in Below Land, right up to the moment she met Luoyang. Embarrassed, Sulo quickly stopped her mother from revealing any more details, and instead demanded to know where she was now. Hua gently dismissed the question. What mattered most was that Sulo understood the truth of their world. Across the infinite multiverse, every world operated under unshakable principles known as Heaven's laws. On Earth, they took the form of Newton's second law, mass energy equivalence, Euler's formula, and entropy, laws that power technological progress. On Below Land, Heaven's laws manifested through the pursuit of spirit power and bodily cultivation. Sulo had always believed that while practitioners could ascend from the lower realm to the spirit realm, the God realm was inaccessible, but that belief was a lie. The God realm was never closed by nature. It was a top-tier cultivation plane, open to all who were capable. No one was born a god. The idea of a divine bloodline was propaganda, created by the gods themselves. Yet, this deception was not born of arrogance. It was an act of protection. For every 100,000 years, a being known as the God Slayer was reincarnated into a child. Once awakened, the God Slayer's sole mission was to eliminate every God-tier practitioner of that era as sacrifices to Heaven's law. Over billions of years, countless generations of top-tier cultivators had been slaughtered. It was as if Heaven's law demanded eternal mediocrity. But the people of Below Land refused to remain mediocre. Cultivation was etched into their very blood. In defiance, the gods sought to identify the child before awakening and block the path to the God realm to reduce the number of potential victims. If they failed, fewer gods would mean fewer sacrifices. Just as they were closing in on a solution, a traitor among the gods betrayed them. The loyal gods who were trapped in a god confinement array left to await their slaughter. Hua alone managed to escape, falling into the lower realm. There, she founded the Assassin's Clan to search for the reincarnated child. But Heaven's law adjusted, making the God Slayer even more elusive. Then came a turning point. A man, Sulo's father, brought her a fragment of an ancient inscription left behind by God-tier practitioners millions of years ago. They had foreseen their doom and proposed a radical solution. A mighty space sorcerer could gather the collective strength of all peers and create an entirely new plane in the universe, rewriting the laws of existence. To achieve this, Hua needed her daughter. Sulo would have to open a new plane and become its foundation, its sky and earth, its wind and rains. She would cease to be human, stripped of emotion and personal attachment. It would save countless lives, but bring ruin to others. Just as Hua had abandoned Sulo's father, Sulo would have to abandon Luoyang. Sulo's heart trembled. She didn't want to watch the world burn, but she didn't want to sacrifice her happiness either. Could she and Luoyang simply stop cultivating and live an ordinary life? Hua gently pointed out the flaw in that dream. Luoyang had reached extraordinary heights at a young age. To suppress his growth would lead to frustration and regret. And if everyone stopped cultivating, the world itself would stagnate. Hua then revealed that Sulo's father's spirit had been shattered when he protected her from a devastating blow. Even if Sulo created a new plane, she could not save everyone. Hua herself had once tried to save all, but Heaven's laws intervened. Both paths felt like dead ends. Abandon Luoyang, and she would still lose her parents, while the God Slayer continued his massacre. Follow Han Yan's plan, and Hua might have another chance, but Sulo would die. Was there truly no other way? Hua told her daughter that only by relinquishing her affections could she discover a path from death to life. Sulo had 3 days to decide. When she emerged from the temple, she reunited with the others. Just as the secret realm began collapsing, Rong swiftly opened a portal back to Hell City. Later, during a shared meal, Sulo learned that Tian had founded the assassination organization on Earth and had been the one to train her there. She thanked him for giving her the courage to fight. To Yan's astonishment, it was revealed that Sulo and Yunqi had once been sweethearts on Earth. Yunqi had pledged loyalty to Tian, and, together with Rong, they turned him into a double agent. Though he continued to work under his father and Yan, he had truly been on their side all along. To protect his cover, Yunqi had deliberately shattered Sulo's trust and affection, but he insisted he had never betrayed her. He simply couldn't reveal the truth. The atmosphere grew heavy. Luoyang poured Sulo a drink and suggested she toast to Yunqi. After she did, Yunqi boldly asked her in front of everyone, "Will you come back to me?" Even Luoyang stiffened at his audacity, flustered and embarrassed. Sulo questioned his timing. Yunqi, wounded by her response, made the excuse he was drunk and quietly left. Dang, brah. When you think about this whole thing, he got the worst end of it. Tian asked if she understood everything from the temple. She did, but requested time to think. Tian made it clear that no one was to disturb her during the days she had. Meanwhile, Yan slipped in Tian's quarters with Bei Chen, hoping to rummage through the treasures he had brought from Earth. Yao caught them in the act and scolded Yan mercilessly. Though Bei Chen escaped most of the blame, he pointed out that Yunqi was currently standing outside Sulo's door. As Yunqi hesitated about whether to knock, Luoyang appeared and advised him not to disturb her at such an hour. Yunqi accused him of jealousy. Taking it as a challenge, the two agreed to settle things downstairs. Their fierce clash soon erupted, drawing Yan and Bei Chen as eager spectators, while Yao watched with stern disapproval. Yunqi insisted that he knew Sulo better than anyone. They had gone on countless missions together, guarded each other's backs, and fallen in love through shared life and death experiences. But Luoyang responded calmly that love only counted when a person met the right one. He explained the world is full of domineering love, the kind that claimed to know what was best for the other person. Often, people fail to understand their beloved precisely because they stood too close. Yunqi still didn't understand why Sulo had been disappointed in him, so Luoyang laid it out plainly. When faced with the most important decision of her life, Yunqi had chosen for her, without even asking what she wanted. Even if Luoyang had never appeared, Sulo would not have forgiven that. Yunqi argued that he knew her childhood on Earth, how she envied girls holding their parents' hands while crossing the street, while she trained alone on rooftops with nothing but a cold sniper rifle. Having longed for maternal love all her life, Yunqi believed she would inevitably devote herself to fulfilling her mother's dream. Overpowering him in battle, Luoyang made one thing clear: Sulo's fate belonged to her alone. It was obvious Yunqi had lost. He wasn't even a worthy rival anymore. As Bei Chen and Yan cheered for Luoyang's victory, Yao left in irritation at their childish celebration. Elsewhere, in the steaming hot springs, Rong asked Tian whether he thought of him as arrogant. Tian didn't hesitate. Rong wasn't just arrogant, he thought he was fanatically so. Beneath that calm, expressionless face was a bomb waiting to explode. Otherwise, he wouldn't have nearly killed Sulo. Years ago, when Sulo had been thrown off a cliff during Rong's battle with Yan, it was Tian who caught her. From that day on, he quietly remained by her side on Earth, raising her like a father. Meanwhile, at the assassin clan's headquarters, unrest was brewing. Some members refused to take orders from Jia, who was merely a team captain like them. To establish authority, she showed the red token Soul Jade, and with it, she claimed leadership. But Jia had no intention of continuing the clan's original mission. Rather than reversing time, she wanted to seize Sulo's space power to forge a future where they ruled below land as the greatest force. Declaring herself the Queen Assassin, she set her own ambitions in motion. At the same time, Ouyang Ming rallied the armies of Xijin Nation and allied with Xuanyan Deri, the new emperor of the Northern Desert. Together, they prepared to march south towards Hell City. Officially, they would seize Sulo and Luoyang. Deri announced to his troops that they would claim the space power for themselves. Even the Lo siblings and various factions who once sought treasures in Mushin Mansion gathered, united by a single goal: to eliminate the space sorcerer. In Hell City, Tian and Rong waited patiently for Sulo's decision, each quietly strengthening their own preparations. Meanwhile, Bei Chen and Yan roamed the city and began noticing suspicious strangers. These newcomers didn't behave like merchants or townsfolk. Bei Chen suspected organized infiltration. Though outsiders required travel passes stamped with Tian's jade seal, these suspicious individuals had valid passes. When Tian checked his office, his jade seal was missing. Rong, after inspecting the city, reported that the inns were full, yet no guests appeared in the diners. They hadn't left their rooms since checking in. The conclusion was obvious. Moles had infiltrated Hell City. Rushing to Sulo's quarters, they instead found Yao. Yunqi soon appeared and confessed to stealing the jade seal. He had lured all enemies targeting Sulo into Hell City deliberately to trap them. According to Yao, Sulo had already left the night before using the Walk of Hell, a secret tunnel running beneath the city's underground fire veins. It was an extremely dangerous route, but those who knew its mechanisms could escape undetected. Even Bei Chen and Yan had been a part of the plan. Though disappointed by his disciples' secrecy, Tian understood that this had been Sulo's choice. During another confrontation between Luoyang and Yunqi, Sulo herself appeared and asked to speak with them. She laid out her plan and requested their cooperation. Then, she turned to Yunqi. Their past wasn't entirely his fault. Back then, she had been immature, constantly trying to guess what kind of girl he wanted her to be. In truth, she had never cared for lipsticks or princess dresses, nor had she believed in fairy tale endings. Because of Loyang, she finally realized how difficult it was to discover her true self. She would always cherish the memories she shared with Yunqi, but now, she wanted to become a better version of herself. Her honesty allowed Yunqi to step back with dignity. Rather than cling to her, he chose to protect her in his own way and agreed to her plan. And so, through the blazing flames of the Walk of Hell, Sulo departed Hell City alongside Loyang, stepping into the uncertain future ahead. At the end of the Walk of Hell, Sulo and Loyang were greeted by a vast sea of molten lava. Here, beyond the reach of Hell City's tracking methods, she could finally use her space magic freely. Loyang, however, intended to return and assist his master in defending the city from its enemies. Channeling lightning through his blades, he sent her soaring safely across the lava to the other side. She called out her thanks, but that wasn't what he wanted to hear. Realizing this, she gathered her courage and shouted, "I love you." He promised that once he had convinced his master in wrong, he would come find her, but even that wasn't enough for her heart. With the final flourish of magic, Loyang struck the lava, sending heart-shaped flames rising into the air. The blazing spectacle left Sulo breathless, and then, with lingering glances, they parted ways. Back in Hell City, Tian wasted no time, literally strangling Yan in frustration for the chaos unfolding. Reports poured in that the infiltrators were overwhelming the elders. Everyone rushed into the city to confront the enemy forces. Amid the fighting, the Low siblings cleverly used pepper to disable a guard. They soon crossed paths with Bei Chen and Yan. Thanks to Yan's provocations, a scuffle broke out. Though it was hardly a fair fight, the siblings were swiftly beaten and forced to retreat. Jia and her agents stormed in, demanding an immediate search of Hell City's palace. Rong, however, treated them like children playing with fire. When they foolishly attempted to use his own spell against him, he casually reversed it, sending them flying out of the battlefield. Elsewhere, Yunqi confronted his father. The king tried to manipulate him with honeyed words before launching a surprise attack, but Yunqi had grown stronger. He overpowered the king, though he briefly considered sparing him. Ambition prevailed. Yunqi intended to ascend the throne himself. The king revealed he had already promised much of Xijin Nation's land to Derry of the Northern Desert, but Yunqi pressed forward regardless. Knocking his father down, he seized authority and ordered Xijin's troops to retreat from Hell City. Meanwhile, Sulo reached her decision. She could not bring herself to choose who to save and who to abandon, nor did she wish to die in the name of destiny. She wanted to live and fight. In Hell City, Tian clashed fiercely with Emperor Derry in the Northern Desert. Just as the battle intensified, Loyang arrived to support his master. His lightning blazed across the battlefield, pushing Derry back again and again. Even when Derry appeared ready to turn the tide, Loyang crushed him with overwhelming force. Watching from afar, Sulo realized she could not give up this man she loved. If she refused to sacrifice anyone, there was only one path left. The third option. She would remain. She would hunt down and eliminate the unawakened Godslayer herself, while protecting those she cherished and striving for the good of the people. She declared her decision to her mother's spirit. Though the path was fraught with danger, it was not impossible. Moved by her resolve, Hua unlocked the dormant space energy within Sulo's combat ring, reshaping her body and elevating her power. Her cultivation surged to Lord tier. Her space magic and potion making advanced to Supreme tier. Her sacred beasts, bound by vow, broke through nearly 1,000 years worth of practice. War loomed like a ticking time bomb. The Godslayer would awaken soon. To prepare, Sulo would have to accelerate her cultivation and build a reliable team of trustworthy allies. Before departing, Hua revealed that a fragment of Sulo's father's spirit remained sealed within the dragon ring. Whether she could restore him or save his body was a trial she would face on her own. As Hua's spirit dissipated, a brilliant beam of light pierced the sky. Across the lands, people witnessed it and bowed, praying for the goddess's blessing. Seeing the light, Loyang immediately set out to find Sulo. Once, Sulo's life had been built on lies. She had been a prisoner of fate, walking paths designed by others. But now, she had awakened to her true self. Her identity was not defined by her name, lineage, or divine blood. It was rooted in the core of her spirit. Willful, stubborn, selfish, and greedy for life, she refused to bow to adversity. Imperfect as she was, she would always strive to stand at the peak of the world. And now, having found her true self, she had also found a soulmate she could trust. Someone with whom she would walk this perilous road towards the future. Wow. Okay, glad to be done with that. What do I think? I think a lot of Dongwa storytelling is awful, but some parts were enjoyable. The next one I'm thinking of trying to cover is Link Click. People say that one is really good, so look forward to that. Subscribe for more stories, but for now, watch this next video. It's me, Comfy T. I'll see you all in the next one.